Hello.
Hello.
Hey.
Good day.
Hi.
Good morning. Good afternoon.
How you doing?
I am lovely. I'm lovely. I'm just waking up here, so
Okay.
excuse the throat clears.
Mm-mm. I forgive you. I forgive you. It's all good.
So here's how we can do this.
Okay.
There's two ways. There's two ways we can do this.
Yeah.
And I think Arch 4IK was thinking we're on the same wavelength. So
Yeah.
we could do this two ways. We could
Mm.
do them separately. We could pick one. We could do one where we rank the league mechanics in their current implementation of PoE today.
Yep.
Or we could do the actual leagues as they were then. I'll level with you. Before 3.0, my league playing time is limited.
Okay.
However, we can still go through these. I'm good for both. I'm good for either. I will defer to you, Mr. Streamer.
Mr. Streamer. All right. The other thing we need to think about, right, is are we going to just talk about the mechanic or are we going to include the patch that came with it?
It's a good question. I think if we do the league as it was, then we should do the patch.
Okay, so
Personally.
league and patch as it was when it came out. I think we should
If
do
we
it.
go that route.
Yeah. So my thing is also when it came out, how we felt about it, not as it exists in its current state.
Okay. When did you start playing? Let's level set here.
I
When did you make your account?
played let's see. I started playing before leagues were a thing, if that's any help.
Okay, then you're gonna have to drive the first section with the smaller leagues.
Okay. Well, I didn't play all leagues, so 2013,
Okay.
which was before leagues. So we can quickly check Path of Exile
Yeah. I was 2015.
2015.
So I started playing in warbands.
Warbands. Oh man. Oh wait, I won't spoil my feelings about it. So which was the first league? First league was Onslaught, which was
Onslaught, yep.
2013. This was the first league that released with PoE.
The first several were going simultaneously, right? Hardcore and softcore.
Yes. So we had
variation.
these. We can. You know what? I'm gonna keep this on the side. How? Aha.
I had
Okay.
this view up as well.
All right. So should we go in order, or are we gonna go via whatever is listed here?
I think let's go in order.
In
We can
order of
start off
release.
because yeah. So oldest again. Oldest. I'll let you drive, and I'll just go. Lolcohol's opinion rules in the background, and I'll let you drive.
All right. Well, let's start out. So, first league, we have. Okay, wait, let's not fuck this up. I instantly fucked it up. Great. Flashbang, everyone. I think I just pushed a button that closed everything.
Throwing for content.
Yep, throwing for content. Okay, and, right, let's try this again. I lost all my tabs. PoE.
I can tell you because I got it up, and you don't have to keep tapping back.
You got it up? No, I've got it up on my third monitor.
Oh,
Yep.
third
We're
monitor.
fancy. Okay.
I didn't realize you were a billionaire.
Oh, we do have the didn't play rank. All right, so first league was.
Oh, didn't play. Okay, but if one of us played, then you should still rank.
Yeah, exactly, for sure. So for people who don't know, when PoE first launched, there were dual leagues. So there would be two league mechanics separately. There would be one for hardcore and one for softcore. So I always played the softcore league when it came out. My ping was too bad. So starting off, we have Onslaught League, which was essentially just all monsters have Onslaught. Which
Can you imagine if that came out today?
that's like a Diablo 4 league, man.
Based.
Where is it? I can't even find it. Is it on here?
Onslaught.
There we
League,
go.
Onslaught
I mean,
yes.
look, I do have to say something about it. When Onslaught League and Anarchy League came out, at the time it was revolutionary, at least from my perspective, to have a league mechanic in the first place. So, I mean,
Sure.
we gotta put it in like F tier, right? It's not that interesting. Whereas,
But are you looking at this through current lens or then lens?
then lens, true. But I mean, I guess then lens, it would have to just be S tier because it was the only thing that existed. So I guess I could say didn't
guess,
play.
Yeah, no, it's tricky. It's tricky. I think yeah, I'll let you ride. But
All right.
I will say that that Onslaught League did introduce a ton of bases. It introduced Shaz Revelation, which is still used today, Death Rush,
Oh yeah.
which is used today. So it's not like it was its impact is still felt.
To this day, it is still felt.
To this day.
You be the lore master on the other screen, right? Give us
Okay,
some
yeah,
tidbits about each of the leagues when they came out. Yeah, honorable
I'll be the
mention.
Deckard Cain of PoE tier lists.
Yeah, there we go. Anarchy, man, this is gonna sound insane. I want to put it in S tier,
Whoa.
but it's maybe too early for an S tier. For the time, I remember when they announced this, it was the first league ever. It was a novel concept. I'd never heard of anything like a league mechanic. Also, they did teasers back then. So when they did this, they like a few weeks before said, ooh, there's going to be these rogue exiles, and no one knew what they were. And I remember sitting on the forums and being like, what is a rogue exile? And people had all these theories. One of the cool theories I remember for Anarchy League was that it was going to be some kind of race event, and then if you died, you came back as like an enemy, and it turned into a PvP. So almost like a zombies type situation where, 100 people start a race, anyone who dies becomes a bad guy. So for the time, I gotta put Anarchy. I did a couple, but it was really hard to do at the time. My computer was so shit. I played PoE at like 20 FPS at the time.
Wow.
So with 200
and
ping,
500 ping.
Yeah. So I tried. It's got a special place in my heart.
Not the 3-monitor Giga Chad you are today.
Exactly, with a 3070.
Holy.
Yeah, we're fancy now. So I kind of got to put it up there, man. I don't know what.
Fair. No, listen. Again, I can't dispute it because I wasn't there.
You weren't there. All right, should we move on?
There.
Next up,
let's do it.
Nemesis and Domination League. I would say I played Domination. That was the softcore league. Nemesis was the hardcore league, which is pretty crazy because that had the introduction of stuff like Corrupted Blood. I mean, and back then PoE was way harder. Defense were way harder to come by. Stuff like So for me, Domination League kind of I don't really remember it being that special. So C tier ish. I don't remember the patch. You got some lore for us, Omisid?
I've got some lore. So Domination League, which ran in 2013 to ending in 2014 early, introduced Jade Flasks, Court Flasks. It introduced Sanctified Life and Mana Flasks, which, not super impactful. Okay, didn't stand a test of time there. We've got Two Stone Rings. Two Stone Rings. We've got the Taming with the 3 sub rings. Blood of the Kurai, Lavianga Spirit, and the Gull. Holy, it's got the Gull. S tier.
The Gull? What about the is this just for Anarchy League? I mean, for Domination League?
It lists them both together when you click the page.
Is there
lists the same thing?
You're not forgetting about one very particular special item that came out in Nemesis League?
Right. Nemesis did have Headhunter, so I would say that's that's got to raise it at least to B tier.
I'm also feeling Nemesis for the time B tier. Just again, this is when you start realizing, like, okay, these guys are doing something different, right?
So here's the thing. So Nemesis introduced Headhunter, and the Gull was Domination. That's why the other things overlap. It's just they each had one unique.
Okay. Oh, right. So they had a separate unique for each league.
Yeah.
All right. We got to put it in at least B tier for the Headhunter. Headhunter is so special. Truly the icon of PoE. Name an item more iconic than Headhunter.
I mean, you can't. This is why Chris has protected it for a decade at this point.
Well, he tried.
He tried.
He tried. And then Arch Nemesis.
07.
Next up, what we have ambush and invasion.
Yep.
So
Yep.
again, ambush was the softcore league. That's what I played. I gotta say, when I saw ambush, I thought it was the most insane, revolutionary idea. For anyone who doesn't remember, ambush is strong boxes. It was so cool to see them having a thing in the game that you could interact with currency. And I was just like, how do you think of that? That's so crazy. Like an item on the ground, but I can use my alchemy orb on it. I have very fond memories of ambush. It was such a cool idea, such a great idea for the time. Not revolutionary by today's standards, but back then, I kind of have to put it in. I have to put it in A tier. It was really cool at the time.
I will say also that this league, those paired leagues, came with Sacrifice of the Vol, which is that's an iconic early PoE patch.
Expansion even.
Expansion, one might say.
Yeah, so we got not only dare I say, we got ambush, we got ambush, invasion, and we got Atziri, who was the first big boss of PoE, who to this day is still a challenge to a lot of builds, especially, well, I would say Uber Atziri, maybe not normal Atziri. Yeah, that shows how cool it is. And again, Vile side areas. I remember the teasers that they posted on the forums, just like a portal, a red portal, and I seem to remember it being on the edge of a dock or something. And all the theories came out like, what is this? Where are we going? So early GGG just doing what they did best. It's got to be an A tier for me.
Something else to note here is that this introduced PvP into the game. That's right. The Sarn Arena, a free-for-all PvP area in Act 3.
Wow.
Yes, I know. I know you guys were waiting for that to learn when PvP hit Path of Exile, the most used feature.
We did it once.
We did it once. We did it once. One day we're going to do that PvP tournament we talked about, and the people will love it.
Dude, it was so much fun. It was so much fun when we did it.
It was fun.
Underrated as hell.
It was really fun.
We gotta do it.
I enjoyed it.
And then
I saw the clip somewhere of TBE just hitting me repeatedly, and he just could not kill me, and PvP just sitting there, just chipping me down, and it makes for great stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. We got to do some next league before PoE 2. Ooh, PvP and PoE 2? Has anyone thought about that? Weird sidetrack. We can talk about it later.
We'll get there.
We will get there. So that also came with Invasion League, which was the hardcore league. Another insane one. I got to put in, didn't play because I didn't play it, but that introduced a ton of crazy monsters that were very hard to deal with at the time. So just got to say, more good stuff from GG at the time. Anything else you want to add?
It introduced quiver bases. A lot of quiver bases.
Mm-hmm.
We got rear guard with invasion. And then we got, with ambush, we got drill mech. So there you go. Quivers.
Nice. So we got some special new uniques.
They've done it again.
They have done it again. Now, next, a legendary pairing. Well, at least for hardcore, right? So we had Rampage League and Beyond League together. Now, Beyond was the hardcore league, if I'm remembering correctly.
Beyond was the hardcore league.
Yes. Yep. Beyond always got the mega hard ones. So Rampage, I do remember playing Rampage. I don't remember it being that cool. Nothing really special. I kind of just want to drop it in like F tier. It was just, again, turbo boost, go for it, get special effects. Not much to it. So
Onslaught 2.0.
Yeah, exactly. It was like Onslaught revised. However, that also came with Beyond. Beyond was one of the most brutal hardcore leagues ever. We got crafting.
Did you play it?
Did I play it? I didn't. But I guess, you know what? Something that's going to affect my change with Rampage as a mechanic, F tier, but I think you got to give us some of that lore. You got to give us some of the backstory. What was the patch like for that league?
Okay. So that came with the Forsaken Masters. So Guitaraholic is correct. Your medal's in the mail. Forsaken Masters came in version 1.2. So you could argue that it did bring crafting. I mean, objectively. For old Forsaken Masters, I don't know how many people remember what the old Forsaken Masters were like,
Oh, boy.
but that was an incredibly tedious, extremely tedious process with dailies.
Dailies.
God,
Dude, dailies. And
it was awful.
so there were 8 different masters. Each of them had their own separate crafting bench with different modifiers on it. And then you would have to do daily missions, which were like really boring or annoying to get
Terrible.
XP, to level them up, to get hideout decorations and more crafts on your crafting bench, of which there were like, what was 7 or 8 of them? It was...
Yes, let's see.
Yeah, and people would do rotas and stuff. So I think that's probably when 820 started to pop off, like global 820. And some of the quests were like, right. Exactly. Do not kill this NPC for like 10 seconds. Those are the kinds of challenges we would get. Like, fight this guy, get him down to low life for 10 seconds, but don't kill him.
Like, yeah, they were really brutal. I really hate dailies in any game, and I remember thinking I was barely playing PoE, you know, like in the sub 3.0 leagues, and I remember thinking I'm never gonna do these.
Yeah,
I can't stand dailies.
So crafting bench, the addition of crafting bench, I kind of want to. This props this up a lot because that was huge. Although the implementation at the time was really gross, I still kind of want to give it a C tier maybe. The mechanic F tier.
I'll defer.
The just the concept of the masters was really cool at the time though. Even though in retrospect dailies was just horrible. COD, yeah, and then Beyond, right? Beyond, I didn't play
Beyond
it,
the hardcore,
but it deserves like. I'm sure that there are probably people who play. Anyone in chat play hardcore? Beyond League? Beyond was sick. Yeah.
You have the retrospective view too, as well, with Beyond being as impactful as it is today.
I do.
So
yeah.
There's that you could theoretically weigh that in, but I think didn't play is probably accurate if we're taking the time traveler approach.
Yeah, I guess so. I have to say I didn't play, but I do remember people being pretty fond of this league. Very fond. And it's to this day, it's a relevant league mechanic.
Yep.
How about some Beyond lore? Beyond Rampage lore?
Beyond lore. It's not too different. It's it introduced Edge of Madness and the Harvest.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty much it. And then that otherwise it was it's the same patch as Rampage.
Okay.
So those both came together, but it's just the different mechanic. The mechanic for Beyond though is a lot more substantial than Rampage, but I guess they were concerned about. I don't know what they're concerned about.
Yeah.
But Beyond is like 5 times as complicated a mechanic as
That's
Rampage.
Rampage is like kill stuff, go faster. That's it.
Yeah. Funny.
We're getting close to when Omisid was playing, all right? And then it's going to get spicy.
I'm getting warmed up.
All right, one more. We have Torment and Bloodlines. Torment, Ghosts.
Mm-hmm.
Mechanic, again, really cool, creative idea to have this monster that empowers things, and the amount of loot that you got from these guys was pretty crazy for the time. Same thing with Anarchy, by the way. Like, just seeing that many items dropping from one monster at the time was pretty crazy. It was just really annoying though, so I can't really give it more than like a C tier maybe. How's the lore looking on Torment League? Was there anything cool?
So Torment League had 3 uniques:
Uh-huh.
Scold's Bridle, the Rat Cage, and Brutus's Lead Sprinkler. In terms of the patch, it introduced Leo.
Oh,
Incredible.
yeah.
Incredible. New player versus player features. Can you imagine today if there was a individual tab like in the table of contents for new player versus player features? Oh my god. It's like ruthless.
Yeah. It's so
We'll just scroll
ruthless.
right past. Major content features. This introduced Kinetic Blast, Blink, and
Oh.
Mirror Arrow. You're welcome, everybody today who plays Bama. Static Strike, Reckoning, Vengeance. I would say this is a pretty standard patch. Nothing.
All right.
No super memorable pieces of content that I can see.
Okay. So decent. Maybe even C tier's a bit high. We'll see once we keep going. Bloodlines is just sort of Nemesis 2.0-ish. I didn't play it. Is there anything, any special uniques for that league?
Bloodlines had Tasalio's sign, Namahu's sign, and Valako's sign. That's pretty much that.
All right.
Otherwise, again, same patch.
Pretty. Yeah, it was the start of the pack-wide mods, I suppose. Yeah.
True.
I do remember Torment, but I don't remember it particularly fondly. But next up, we have Warbands and Tempest League. Now, this is when you started playing, right?
Yep. Warbands, it's got to be S tier because, again, I was introduced to Path of Exile and the community. You're welcome. So I would say, no, Warbands, I mean, like, truth be told, I barely knew what I was doing in Warbands, personally.
Yeah.
So I look back fondly because I was chain dying in the Aqueduct, just building no offense, or sorry, no defense, only offense.
Probably neither, to be fair.
Yeah. My build is rough. I actually have I think I deleted this post, but I have a distinct memory of making a Reddit post, finding an item that said mirrored from a strongbox, and I bought it off trade. And I remember thinking, oh my god, did I just get a mirrored item? And I made a Reddit post, and I think I titled it "Deal of the Century?" ?
Oh no! You just saw mirrored and you're like, oh my god, I got a mirror tier item.
Yeah, exactly. So Warbands was good though. I mean, I remember enjoying it. I don't think it's kind of similar to Anarchy though. If you're looking at it objectively, it's pretty much the same concept.
There's other reasons I'm okay putting this in S tier. It was also it was the first league where you needed external resources to play it properly, because there were cycles. For people who don't remember, these different warbands, which are just like groups of I don't know, like enemies, the ones that you fight on the not peer map, not town map, whatever. They would appear in certain maps for an hour at specific times of the day. So you had to kind of follow them around the atlas, which was really cool at the time. But I think one of the major things you need to mention is what came with Warbands and Tempest League.
So Warbands introduced Act 4.
Act 4. Huge.
It introduced Act 4. Huge. Which has got what's it called? Calm and Doresso and whatever his name is at the very end.
Malachi. Yeah. Who was insane at the time. Super hard boss.
Insane at the time. Yep. This is pre-10 Act. It also introduced, drumroll, Deterministic Lockstep.
Whoa. That is massive. Massive. Yes. That was the #1 criticism for PoE at the time. People wanted lockstep predicted mode because they felt desync was a huge problem.
Yep.
We gotta put it in S tier. But another thing it added, did it not add another very popular mechanic that lives on to this day?
A very popular mechanic that lives on to this day. It introduced. Can you call on someone else?
Lab?
Lab? Did it introduce Lab?
Did it come with Lab?
I don't think so.
Didn't it come with Lab?
I don't see anything about Lab.
Lab?
Let's see. Did it come with Lab? Labyrinth. Nope. I don't see anything about Lab.
Eternal Lab Rinth. Didn't it come with this league? Act 4, that's one of my top acts. Hell yeah. PoE 2.0.
Yep, go ahead.
Awakening League. So not only did this come with the league, but also came with the expansion, which was Awakening League. Right?
Awakening was the patch. Yep, that's 2.0. I don't see anything about Lab. When did Lab come out?
It had to come out during then, right?
The Labyrinth. The Labyrinth came out in...
Thank you. We got a link.
Labyrinth came out in...
Came out then. What?
No.
No?
It can't be. It can't be. I don't believe it.
Dude, this...
version history.
Yeah, it
version
did.
History. It came in 2.2. 2.2.
2.2? No.
2.2.
Path of Exile, The Awakening, referred to as Path of Exile 2.0, was the third expansion.
Yeah, yes, but Lab didn't come till 2.2, it says.
Oh, Guitarholic lied to us. Anyway, blame him.
2.2 was Ascendancy. They introduced...
Guitarholic lied.
2.2.
Guitarholic lied.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm not reading chat anymore.
You guys are making me nervous.
You're baiting me. But that was huge for PoE. Lockstep coming in, massive. And then what came with that was Tempest League, which was the hardcore league. I didn't play it, but one of the things I remember about it was that 6-link items were super accessible for the first time. Because you get the Corrupting Tempest, and you get 6 links. 6 links were really, really, really hard to get for a lot of people. And this thing just crapped them out. You would get tons.
Oh, yeah.
Tons from this. So I got to put it in. Didn't play, but Warbands is carrying us into S tier.
Perfect.
Okay.
So this is when, so just for context, after 2.0, this is when they just started doing one league. So none of these are running simultaneously at this point forward.
Yeah.
They're all individual.
Which makes so much more sense.
Yep.
So much more sense. But these early days of PoE there was a big thing about not SSF, SC versus HC. It was like, man, if you're all the real players were hardcore, all the noobs were softcore. If you played softcore, you were ashamed. It's basically, yeah, it's pretty much. So after this, we get Warbands, Tempest, and then Talisman League. Yay! This was a league.
Muted claps from the audience.
Talisman League existed, right? Did you play it?
I did not play Talisman.
You didn't?
I did not play Talisman. Nope. I enjoyed Warband so much, I had to take a league off.
Like a good PoE player.
That's right.
But
I've heard.
I gotta put it in F tier, man. Unless it came with some good patch that I don't remember. I remember this was probably the first league I played for like a week, and then it was just like, you know what, I'm good. The amount of micromanaging in this league was insane. You had to collect all these talismans, and then you had to like upgrade them with NPCs that you would randomly encounter, and you'd have to have like the right talisman. It was horrible. It was gross. Look at all these talismans.
Yeah, it's tons.
Gross.
Yeah, this is I feel like this is a cool concept in theory that just did not land.
Yeah.
I think there's something here. Still, I think there's something here. But I don't know. It clearly it's just other priorities, right? There's no need to look too much back on this from their perspective, I would imagine.
It's got to be F tier. It has to be. Did it come with any cool patches or anything?
It did bring Rigwald's uniques, which Rigwald's Quills at the time, for those who remember, was like a tier 0, basically. I don't know if it actually was a tier 0, but it felt like it. And then let's see, version 2.1 brought not too much. I mean, a bunch of new skills. I mean, standard patch stuff. Nothing crazy. It did bring BV. You're welcome, Lolcohol.
Okay. All right. I'll give you
move it up.
Nah, you know what? Not even for BV.
Alright,
It's
fair
an
enough.
F
Yeah,
tier.
nothing crazy.
Ooh, Guitar like also mentioned 2.0. We got divination cards with Warbands League. Another check for that one,
There you go.
which
Yep.
was a pretty cool concept at the time. All right, should we move on? Parandis League.
Let us.
Or yeah, Parandis League. I don't think I played Parandis League actually. Did you?
I think so, but it
Yeah.
was so long ago that my opinion is probably not substantial. I'm fine putting it in didn't play.
Putting it
I
in.
did. I do believe I played though, but I can't really remember much about it.
Oh. Wait, no, I must have played this if it came out. Wait, hold on. You're right. Parandis is when we got Ascendancies.
It is. It is when we got ascendancies. I will say, I'm sure I never ascended. I'd bet money on that.
I must have played this league. I just don't remember what the mechanic was. You would just get coins and then buy stuff from him in zones, and then there was also the Parandis mana map.
I believe that is exactly how it played out. Yep.
Yep. Okay,
Secret caches around Ray class. These caches were in random zones. You had to open them. You defeat the guards. You can encounter Kadira, who would offer an item for Brandis coins.
okay, so
I think Brandis is still a fun mechanic. I'll say. I wish Brandis was back. Brandis was back in the game.
Huh? You miss it.
Yeah.
All right. Well, mechanic, I would probably give like a C tier, but this came with Ascendancies and Lab, which is probably one of the hugest changes to PoE ever. When they announced this, it was insane. One of the huge problems PoE had before Ascendancies came out was just the different characters. Essentially, the only difference between them was their starting position on the tree. They didn't really have that much of an identity. Obviously, you do get stuff like different stats for leveling up, but there was always this feeling in PoE that, like, what is the difference between a Marauder and a Witch? It's the starting point in the tree. So you would have Marauders running around casting, Frostbolt totems or whatever, just because they had a slightly better point on the tree. And then this came out, and we were like, oh my goodness, classes actually matter. Massive change. I think it's got to go in S tier, right?
Yeah, I think so. I think so.
For 2.0.
It did introduce a bunch of cool unique 7 League Steps, Zerfie's Last Breath, which was OP.
That was, yeah.
Until it's been, obliterated at
Completely.
This point. Let's see. The main highlight of the patch is the Ascendancies, though. So yeah, there's not too much.
Not too much. All right, sweet. We agree. When are we gonna disagree?
Oh, I can't wait for these later leagues when my memory is primed.
Calandra S tier. Oh no. Prophecy League. We got Prophecy League 2016, the 3rd of June, I believe.
That is correct. The 3rd of June. This is the Summer League.
The Summer League.
2016.
Excuse me.
Drinks in the shade and Prophecy League in the hotel room. I don't know where I was going with that.
I would like to remind you that an entire other hemisphere exists. This was a Winter League.
Oh, that's right.
Don't forget.
Okay, you're right. That was not cool of me, and
extremely offensive. Extremely. I don't remember playing this. I think I did, but it doesn't stand out in my memory in the same way that some of these other ones did. Did they add anything else cool? So with Prophecy League, we got these silver coins that would drop, and then you could take it to Navali, who would then unveil a prophecy that you would then have to go fulfill, and then you would get a reward. Kind of interesting concept. I don't remember it being that fun. It did add fated uniques, which was really cool at the time. So fated uniques are just essentially upgraded versions of existing uniques. So pretty cool system on that front. Do you remember playing it?
I do remember playing this, and I do remember thinking that the prophecies were just kind of like a set and forget type mechanic.
Yeah.
So as far as mechanics go, I mean, when they removed prophecy, however long ago that was at this point, I don't know, 2 years ago. I remember thinking this will not be missed. This is just like a totally needless mechanic in the game at this stage, and I think I felt that way at the time personally.
I kind of put the mechanic at like D tier, but how's the patch looking for this?
The patch for this, let's see, what do we got? This introduced the Endgame Lab, completing 6 new trials. They're more random and complex. Whoa. We've got different traps. Emperor's Mastery came in this patch.
Yeah.
Frostbolt, Vortex came in this patch. Old Vortex. Let's see here. Uniques, a bunch of new uniques. It seems like a good patch, but not, I don't think enough to shift it too much. Because like we could go line by line here and look at these and say, oh well, this was a very impactful gem, and yeah, but I feel like overall it was kind of a relatively, at that time, a standard patch.
Ooh.
In terms of the level of mechanics being introduced.
You know what? We got some good message in chat. So, firstly, Pale Court. Yes. Pale Court was a really cool challenge at the time. You get these keys, and then you would go into the Pale Court. So that was a nice challenge. But, Metacrafts? Did Metacrafts not come with this patch? Did it?
Metacrafts.
When did we get
Metacrafts?
Prefix is going to be changed, suffix is going to be changed, kind of multiple crafted modifiers. That's what it was at the time. And
I'm hitting them with a Control F prefix on this patch, and I'm not getting anything.
Did we? When did we get those?
It's a great question.
Quack.
It's a great question. Let's see. Meta mod. Is that going to yield anything? Here. Meta crafting mod. Meta crafting mods were introduced in 1.2.
Oh. Okay, so it came when Masters came out, but then...
Yeah.
But...
I'm not sure... Oh, I see. In 3.5, they changed... The new unlock is the Pale Council.
Oh, right.
So that's maybe what people are thinking of later. It introduced it.
Okay.
Or it shifted it over.
Yeah, they shifted it over to then. Okay, so it didn't come there. But DC how do you feel?
I'd go D for this one personally.
Yeah, I kind of feel like it's a bit of a D. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. Next. Ooh, Essence League.
I did not play Essence League.
You didn't? I know.
I did not.
I remember playing this league. So Essences at the time, pretty, again, a really cool concept. Something new. It seems a lot of these things just seem normal for now, but all of these patches were just like cutting edge at the time. No other game had done this kind of stuff. And this introduced, I guess, a form of determinism to crafting in a very cool way. It was not as hard as it is now, but it was a very cool mechanic. I really like Essence, but the patch that came with it, tell us about it. Huge patch, right?
Massive. This is Atlas of Worlds.
Atlas
is the
of Worlds.
5th expansion.
Yep.
So this is a large endgame overhaul, excuse me. So this introduced, I mean, it's hard to even conceptualize this, but this added the Atlas of Worlds, right? Like, which is like, you're welcome 7 years later or whatever, 8 years later.
Yeah.
30 maps, a bunch of bases, a bunch of uniques, Cospreys, Cock Gamers Unite.
Yeah.
I mean, the Atlas introduction alone is gonna move this up to like,
huge. This is like a very, very obvious S tier to me.
Yeah.
Good.
I'm aligned.
Good league mechanic, and they added the Atlas, which is again revolutionary and one of our, I guess, would you call Aziri a pinnacle boss? I guess Aziri was
absolutely.
Aziri was a pinnacle boss, but this added Shaper, right?
Yes, it did.
Which was Shaper. Insane at the time. If you could kill Shaper, you were just a god. It was so hard. It was on another level. The mechanics that were involved in that fight were just unreal. It was like a revolutionary patch. Huge. I'm gonna put it at the top of S tier.
Whoa.
Top of S tier.
It also introduced the Void div card.
The Void.
Is there a tier above S tier?
We'll add a Void tier.
Void tier, yeah, exactly.
Huge patch.
And now we're starting to get towards modern day PoE, relative modern day PoE.
I'll tell you where I think the change to modern day PoE is.
Okay. Okay. You want to tell
But
me now, or are you going to tell me then?
I'll tell you then. I'll leave it as a
Okay.
surprise. I'll leave it as a
Deal.
surprise. Anything else big with the Essence League other than, you know,
I
the
think,
Atlas and Shaper?
and the Void? No, I think we're good.
I think we're good. S tier. Obvious S tier. Huge. And
Yep.
engine multi-threading, apparently. Very relevant. Next.
Cool.
At Essences.
Breach.
This was a huge league, and I have a confession to make.
Yep.
I didn't play it.
Neither did I.
You didn't play it? Oh no.
This stage in my life, I was very busy in school, so
Yes.
I was kind of like playing when I can, and I would skip whole leagues. I didn't start really getting committed till bestiary, which is just coming up.
Oh, wait, Breach dropped. Oh, man, what? This Breach came out the year I went back to college? It doesn't.
Yep.
It feels so long ago. Feels so long
ago. It is
ago.
a long time ago.
So yeah, so I was back in school for that, but it came out in December. So this was our Christmas league. This was
Yes, this would have been a
probably
Christmas league.
anyone who plays Breach, anyone who did play it remembers it as probably one of their favorite leagues of all time. Just the amount, this is probably, I guess you could say this was the start of modern PoE with the zooming, blasting, 7 trillion items on the ground. The loot was insane. This is probably the first time we saw the beginning of the modern loot explosion, where you have to get loot filters. When did loot filters become a thing? Probably, I wouldn't be surprised if it was during Breach League.
That's a good question, actually. I don't know.
Yeah.
When did Neversing start making the loot filter?
I'm not sure, but it wouldn't surprise me if it was around then, because that was the first time you felt like you needed it. And it was Professional Golden Fish. There's a link to the tier create if you want to create your own. If anyone wants to follow along, you're welcome to. We can look at your one afterwards if there's time. But I think Breach, even though I didn't play it, I've heard so much about it. And why don't you give us some lore, the patch lore?
The patch itself, let's see, we've got 55 new uniques. That's actually, I guess, because so many of them are, 35 of them are Breach, which makes sense. A lot of Breach news. Cast while channeling. We've got, let's see. Yep. Hold on. Stalling. Not, honestly, the patch is kind of light.
Okay.
Relative. It's a little bit of a light patch. The league, I guess, was where a lot of the dev time went in this patch.
Yeah. And
the patch itself is pretty light.
This is one of my favorite types of leagues, which is you have an in-map mechanic that works toward an out-of-map mechanic. Even though it's in the form of splinters, which we have grown to hate. Those are my favorite kinds of leagues. I'm so disappointed that we missed this. Even though I didn't play it, I kind of want to put it in S tier, just because it's like, I think anyone who played it would put it in S tier. And the fact that I'm so disappointed about missing out on it to this day, it's got to be, or do we put it in A tier? Because it didn't.
It's up to you. It's up to you. You can own this one because I truly did not play. So and I'm gonna be honest, I don't like Breach that much right now.
Yeah. Maybe.
So
I'll put it at the top of A tier, because S tier I'm reserving for like the revolutionary patches.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Well, the next one is Legacy League.
Oh.
The never-ending league.
The never-ending league.
This is the first league, I think, that actually spanned multiple calendar seasons. It encompassed an entire season within it and moved past that season end date. It's incredible.
Yeah.
This league launched March 3rd, 2017, and ended at the very end of July. So this is basically Necropolis if you had an extra month on top of it.
Yeah.
Which is crazy. I mean, like we're nearly on that schedule. Like Necropolis launched March 29th, I think, of this year, and it's ending the next league starts the 26th. This is longer than that by over a month.
A 21-week league, almost half a
Yeah, it's
year.
actually crazy.
It's like a 5-month
Actually
league.
crazy.
I do remember playing it. It was a pretty cool thing at the time. Did you play it?
I was graduating from college, so I did not.
Oh,
That was like second semester, so I was not playing. Right after this, though, is when I picked up my playtime significantly. So I'll be able to weigh in a little more here. Coming up.
okay. Legacy League. It was a cool mechanic. You would get these little legacy stones, and you could
Yep.
infuse them with league mechanics. It's almost like scarabs.
Like scarabs.
Yeah,
it's pretty much precursor to scarabs.
It is a precursor to scarabs. So I, considering it was so long, I did play it. I don't remember playing it that much. Did it come with any crazy changes, or
That's what
why?
I'm looking for right now.
Why was it
Major
such a
features.
long patch?
I think it was a long patch because right after Legacy League was 3.0.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
So I think it was like a PoE 2 scenario, honestly, not too far off from that. In the sense that it was extended to make time for 3.0 release, which was a substantial patch.
Yeah.
I don't think I'm looking at the league right now. Let's see, anything standing out. I mean, it's a pretty large patch, and I will say that retrospectively, looking at Legacy League, having not played it, I mean, this basically built the foundation for the modern mapping system. I feel like
You feel
so
like, oh,
it's
yeah.
pretty similar. They introduced Lion Eye's Watch now has stairs.
Whoa.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah.
Yep. Strap in. Oh, it introduced SSF, which is pretty big.
That's pretty big.
Let's see here. Anything else major? Not. I mean, it's a pretty big league mechanic, but I don't see anything else that seems standing out to me as like a hugely unique change.
Yeah.
There's just a bunch of threshold jewels when those were a thing, some rebalance, but nothing crazy.
Do we put it in? I know people have fond memories of Legacy, but was it that special? I guess should we put it in like C, because it let you pick the mechanic you wanted to do at the time.
I was thinking B personally.
You were thinking
but if you
B.
feel C, just because of how much it's impacted today.
Okay.
In the sense that like it literally, I think this is the closest equivalent to scarabs, sextants that we had before. Picking your own content was, I feel like, a pretty new idea.
So you feel like
now it's kind of a thing we take for granted.
So it was like like a precursor. I'm okay putting it in B. I'm okay putting it in B.
Yeah. Okay.
Because of the impact of it. Yeah. All right.
I can't wait to. If this was this easy to move you from C to B, I can't bulldoze your opinions when we get to the higher tier.
Yeah. Poor Omisid.
Okay.
You have to hear every time I clear my throat. I'm muted for stream,
okay.
but you get a full bronze of it. But
I mean, this is a benefit, I would say.
A benefit.
Being in the Discord call.
Well, so
yes.
Next is probably one of the hugest leagues ever. And this was it not announced at the first ExileCon? So Legacy League?
Was way before ExileCon.
No, wasn't ExileCon one? Oh no, wait. When was first ExileCon? Was it 2017 or 2019?
I think it was 2019.
I think it was 2019.
Yeah, this is before ExileCon.
So
I'm 95% sure. But this is a massive patch nonetheless.
This is a massive patch.
Massive patch.
Harbinger.
Yep.
So
Harbinger League was the league mechanic that came with, drumroll, the fall of Oriath. Whatever.
Oriath 3.0, 3.00. One of the most hype trailers I've ever seen in any game ever. Can we actually just... Do you want to watch
Pull it up. Pull it up. Let's do it.
To this day, like, just thinking about it gives me like shivers. PoE 3.0 announcement trailer. Oh my goodness. This was insanity. So, just for context, right? In the lead up to this, GGG had been rumoring people. How do I say? So there'd been rumors of PoE one day being a game with 10 acts. And the idea people had was they were going to add one act every year or two. And then perhaps in, like 10 years time, we would have full 10 act campaign. And it was going to be so crazy. Like an ARPG with 10 acts. Like, how is that possible? And then they dropped this.
Yeah.
My goodness.
I'm not muting the stream. I must watch.
Yeah, you just gotta watch it, man. Act 5. At this moment, we're all like, what? Act 5, it's crazy. Holy shit.
Yeah.
Finally, they're doing Act 5. We're returning to Aurea. But wait. Now, dude, it's still like it makes my skin.
It's crazy.
It's like goosebumps just watching this. Act 6, people are like, what? Act 6 as well? No way. Look at that bot. Act 7. Oh, I still get hyped watching this.
It's crazy. It's such a massive content drop.
Act 10. Pantheon.
Yep.
Dude. Dark Souls skeletons. This is like the most obvious S tier of all time.
Yeah.
It just
It's
like
a crazy league.
mind blowing at the time. So crazy. So we got
I agree. I agree.
10 acts, which we thought was going to take 10 years to do. But that also came with Harbinger League, which as a mechanic was pretty cool at the time. We got Beachhead, Infused Beachhead, Harbinger Orbs. We got some new currency types, like Mirror Shards, which again was really cool at the time. Yep. I guess, this didn't come with... No. I'm thinking of Conquerors of the Atlas. It wasn't Conquerors of the Atlas yet. That's the one they announced at the first ActorCon. But, okay, S tier, but where are we placing it? Better than Atlas of Worlds and Shaper, or just below?
I would say this is below Atlas of Worlds, just because of the impact of the Atlas today, personally.
Yeah, I think so too. But for hype, this is unprecedented, I think.
Yeah, crazy.
So
It also removed like the classic ARPG setup, I guess, for lack of a better word, with difficulty tiers, and instead of just one difficulty, no cruel, no merciless type thing, which was pretty big.
Yeah, that was big because people hated playing through the same campaign 3 times. You had to do Act 1, 2, 3, 4, Act 1, 2, 3, 4, Act 1, 2, 3, 4, and then you would be able to go through. So
yep, exactly.
Man, just turbo hype. What else did we get in this patch?
We got
one of the coolest crafting items. One of the coolest Actually, no, the coolest
the divine
crafting.
vessel.
Yes.
What
we got Orbs of Annulment, man. Orbs of Annulment
are,
I think, to this day, my favorite crafting item. So much fun.
And Ancient Orbs.
And your favorite crafting item, Ancient Orbs. Well, maybe once.
Crafting in the loose sense of the term.
Yes.
Pantheons. I mean, sorry. Go ahead.
No, go for it.
Pantheons. I know it was called out in the trailer, but Pantheons are also another long-lasting. I think Pantheons have kind of outlived their purpose. I think that they could probably use a little bit of a conceptual rework at this point. Personally, I feel like they're kind of boring, but at the time they were pretty cool.
Definitely. They're still useful to this day, but yeah, they're a bit like
Very useful,
little
for
bit
sure.
out of date. Yeah.
They're just kind of a weird. I mean, like, for example, like the Burning Ground situation with you basically it's just a mandatory pantheon with Burning Ground, and I don't know. It just feels a little bit odd to me, but I think that they're definitely still functionally useful. There's no doubt they're being used.
Yeah. And now one of the biggest changes that happened with this patch, right? Not only did we get 3.0 with 10 new acts, we got Harbinger League with Beachheads. I got my first proper computer of my life.
Let's go.
Dude.
S tier.
Like, this is the S's of S tiers. This this got announced like just after I got my computer, and I had legitimately been playing on probably like maybe 30 FPS on a good day, and then in higher tier maps I would get like 10 FPS. And
Whoa.
I could never push into red maps with this, so with that computer. So I got a proper computer for the first time, like 100 FPS. So good.
There you go.
So I have
There you
very,
go.
very fond memories of that one. Yeah.
Okay.
Excuse
Have we
me,
covered it?
chat. Yes. Right.
Alrighty. The next one was Abyss League, which came with War for the Atlas,
Oh, damn.
which was the Elder.
The Elder. Pretty cool, right? Pretty cool
Pretty
league.
cool.
Abyss as a
Yeah.
mechanic, very. Did I play this? I think I did, but I mean, it's a very interesting mechanic. Chasing that thing is a bit of a pain in the butt, but the fact that it can go,
I think I did as well.
yeah, it can go down, which was, again, you got that in map with an extra layer of something content. So there's like the mini boss in there. So as a mechanic, Abyss probably like C tier. What would you say?
Yeah. I'd say it's C tier.
Probably like C tier. But it did come with some really cool other stuff, which our friend Omisid will now inform us about.
Yes. The Elder invades the Atlas of Worlds. Cue orchestral music. Dun dun. Draw out their influence by completing adjacent maps. New endgame storyline.
Oh,
It introduced Volatile Dead, Unearth, Mirage Archer. It introduced Oni Goroshi.
oh
Sick.
no.
Pillars of Arun. You're welcome, everybody.
The
7
best
years
map.
later.
Yep.
Twilight Temple, Watcher's Eyes, obviously with the Elder. That's pretty sick. Poet's
Huge.
Pen. Poet's Pen was crazy for a very long time. Let's see, Ralakesh, but this is old Ralakesh, so different but similar. I mean, it's got all these uniques. Iron Fortress. This is a pretty good patch. There's a lot of impactful items here. Yeah, this is a biggie.
This is a biggie.
Impulses,
also Stygian Vises.
Stygian Vises,
Abyss Jewels.
Shroud of a Lightless,
Yoke. Man. A lot of cool stuff.
This is a very good patch. Yeah, I would say this is right up there.
Are we gonna put it in behind Breach?
I would.
Or
I was thinking in front of Breach, but I'm good with A tier. You're the man with the mouse.
In front
though.
of Breach.
Oh.
You know what? Because I actually played it, we're putting Abyss above Breach. Sacrilege.
Let's go.
Sacrilege. But I mean,
But
Elder,
it's the patch. It's the patch.
It's mainly the patch. Yes. Yeah.
Breach was a pretty light patch, so Abyss came with a very substantial patch.
Yeah. So sick patch. Although it did then lead to competing influence types, which was a bit of a pain at the time, because you'd have to chase the Shaper around the map and then chase the Elder, and like their influences would interfere with each other, and it was a bit like micromanagey. But the Elder, awesome fight, and introduced one of the coolest uniques into the game, Watcher's Eyes.
Yep.
Watcher's Eyes is like one of the best items ever added to the game. All right.
Completely agree.
Top of A tier with an absolute classic. And then next up, we have
Pokemon League.
We have Pokemon League. Bestiary.
Yep.
Instant skip for me. I didn't play it. everyone who played it complained about it. Did you give it a shot?
I did. So Bestiary is the first league. I haven't missed a single league since Bestiary.
Oh, okay.
So this is I've got them all down. The mechanic was very bad.
It
It was
was.
extremely clunky. It was extremely clunky. However, it introduced the best NPC.
It did.
So I would say maybe like somewhere between the S on your screen and Essence, I think is a good spot for it.
Right up here? Sure.
Yeah. I think right up there. It is a pretty bad league overall. I feel like, I'm willing to put this in like D tier or F tier. I think D tier.
Yeah,
Personally.
probably one of the only good things about it at the time was maybe beast crafting. And
Yes, it did introduce that,
I think it's
which was cool, but I think it's pretty bad.
F tier.
I would say D. It is a pretty substantial patch.
Ooh.
There's a lot of in terms of there's a lot of rebalancing, a lot of things added. It's better than Talisman in my opinion.
It's way better than Talisman. Yeah.
Yeah,
And
I
wait,
think it's right there with Prophecy.
did it add in Zana?
I thought Zana would have come with. No, I don't think
No.
so.
Oh,
I
but
don't think
yeah,
so.
Bestiary just micromanagement hell. You had to capture the beast yourself. So yeah, I'm not gonna I'm not gonna play it. Yeah. So I skipped that one. And then next, Incursion League.
Incursion League was good.
Incursion League was good. This was, again, I don't know what was happening in my life. Oh, 2018. Okay, so I was in my third year of my college thing at the time. So I remember playing a little bit of Incursion, getting wrecked in like Act 1 because I was trying to do all the incursions, and I was just like, you know what, I'm good. I've got other shit I need to do. So I barely played Incursion back to back.
Okay, I played a lot of Incursion.
Okay.
Incursion, I remember doing the Tri-Herald BV build on an Elementalist. I have distinct memory of that. This was the first league where I truly pushed towards a min-maxed build, I would
Okay.
say. Incursion, the mechanic was very fun at the time. I remember liking it a lot. Introduced double corrupting. Come on.
Hell yeah.
Come on.
A staple.
A staple. I would say Incursion was a solid. Maybe let me look at the patch here.
Yeah, let's check out the patch.
I would say from my memory, Incursion was a solid maybe B tier.
A B tier?
I would say so.
Above
I
Nemesis?
would say so. Above Nemesis.
Or below?
I would say below Legacy and Nemesis.
Oh, really? Okay.
Legacy. I feel like Legacy was very, very impactful.
Yeah.
So it's like I feel like it has to have like that level of impact.
Okay. And what was the patch like for Incursion League?
The patch for Incursion League introduced 39 new lab enchants.
Oh.
This introduced a bunch of traps. Flamethrower trap, seismic trap, explosive trap, siphoning trap, lightning spire trap, bunch of Vol skills, Vol BV, the Vol impurities, Vol earthquake. Let's see. Besides that, it's not super substantial. So I feel pretty good about B tier.
All right. B tier is pretty good. Now,
Yep.
the next league is my most beloved. Are we ready to move on?
Let's do it. Yep.
This is my favorite league of all time. I love it so much.
Your favorite league of all time was Delve.
Delve League. Something about this patch and this league mechanic felt so special. It was just on a grander scale than anything we had seen before. I think all of these league mechanics were very much like in-map mechanics. And then Delve was like, here is an endless downward dungeon that, this is the league that I got really, 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 really hooked on PoE. This was the first league that I made my first 10 Exalt sale by crafting, which was a huge deal at the time. Like 10x at the time was like crazy. I crafted like a Val Regalia with 700 ES. The crafting mechanic they added was amazing. The actual delve mechanic was amazing, a bit rough at the start, but I love it. I think, correct me if I'm wrong, is this when GGG was acquired by Tencent? When
That's a good question that I don't know the answer to. Let's see. GGG.
I seem to remember it being around April 2018, and then
It was.
yeah,
Let's see. Grinding Gear Games in 2018. Yeah, it looks like to be around that time, like
around then,
early to mid 2018. Yeah,
which was very controversial at the time, but I think every single
this was just
league,
after.
yeah, every single league that has come after Delve has been on another level compared to everything else we've seen.
Delve was good. Delve was the first time I got a headhunter. I was playing Molten Strike Juggernaut. Yep.
Molten Strike Jug,
Del-
nice.
That's right. Yep. With I think it was Nebulock.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this was I liked this patch too. I really enjoyed Delve.
You like it?
I remember this was the first. I mean, I really loved the keys. I remember that distinctly. They did the what's it called? What are those keys called? You guys know what I'm talking
The
about.
keys?
Yeah, the reliquary keys. There it is.
Oh yeah, okay.
I loved the reliquary keys. But Delve was fun. I'm aligned with pretty much everything.
That was it was like a special league. It was a very special league.
Absolutely.
Something about it just felt so different. It just felt like we stepped up from like a little indie game to like, holy shit, these guys are actually doing something huge. Yeah, and we got a whole lot of cool uniques. Precursor's Emblem, Alls, Doriani's, the map came along. Got some new, what else? Some new uniques.
Bunch of new skill gems. We got Holy Relic, Consecrated Path, which is, I think, a very cool gem, but it's not very used. Smite, Herald. We got Herald of Purity and Agony.
Mm-hmm.
Scourge. Toxic Rain was in this patch.
Whoa.
Yep.
And
this is a big one.
Fossil crafting, which was
fossil crafting is big.
So cool at the time. Before we had fossil crafting, we had like essences and meta crafting. Fossil crafting was not really that accessible to most players. This made it much more accessible because you could get some pretty sweet items fairly easily. You could actually really impact what you were trying to get, and also there were some special delve only mods. I fucking love this league, man. Where would you put it?
I would put Delve I'd put Delve above Warbands in S tier, personally.
You would put it below Pirandas?
I feel like Pirandas was a big patch, wasn't it? Isn't that why we put it up there?
Dude, I'm so offended right now. You put Delve below Pirandas?
You know what? Fuck it. Put it at Talisman.
No. Oh yeah, no.
It's because Pirandas came with Ascendancies. That's why we put it up there. I don't think it's more impactful than Ascendancies. And as far as like it, I don't know. I think your rose tinted glasses are overpowering you.
Yeah. Okay, so if we were just looking at league mechanics and ignoring patches, this would be like the hardest S tier for me.
Sure.
It was But we're not. Guitaraholic City putting an AOB. Shut up! You weren't playing at the time. How dare you?
Yeah. Let's keep it to the true PoE fans. Okay.
Yeah, like all these league mechanics, they were like pretty good at the time, but they were also kind of carried a bit by the patch that they came with. Delve, as a mechanic, just it's like standalone, out of this world. So good.
Agreed.
Can I quickly grab some water? You want to take a 2-minute break?
2-minute break. Yep. 2-minute break.
Everyone
I'm gonna do the same. Get some coffee.
Yeah, get some coffee, and then we'll move on to
We're in modern PoE right now.
We're answering it. Modern PoE. Everyone take a 2-minute break. Catch you in a sec. Okay, why don't you tell us what the next league is and hit us with your thoughts about it?
Okay, next one is Betrayal League.
Mm-hmm.
So there was a period in PoE before I was like I was playing a lot. I played all these leagues. I played a lot, but there was a period before I was like, I would say, categorically invested, where I would see mechanics like Betrayal, and I would say, I don't understand what the hell they're talking about, but I'm sure it's going to be fun. I'll get there when I get there, kind of thing. And Betrayal was definitely a league where I remember having that exact feeling.
Mm.
I was looking at this mechanic, and today, even today, Betrayal's a little bit confusing. But Betrayal, at that moment, I remember thinking, this doesn't make any sense during the review. I don't get it at all. But I'm sure someone smarter than me is gonna tell me that it's fun, and it was fun. Betrayal was one of my favorite leagues at the time. I loved Betrayal. I loved the Katarina fight. I loved
Yep.
the removal of the Masters because
Yep.
that was awful. I would put Betrayal right up there. In the A's for me.
No, for me it's an S tier. For me,
Whoa,
Betrayal
okay,
is
alright.
a hard S tier. Yeah, like you said, they got rid of the Masters. They added a weird, complex league mechanic. Look at all these leagues that we had before. Onslaught, Invasion, Bloodline, Beyond, Tempest, Talisman, Prophecy, Bestiary, Rampage, Nemesis, Legacy, Incursion. Like, Incursion may be a little bit confusing. Delve also a little bit confusing. This is around when Tencent took over. And you can see just how simple these leagues were compared to what we got after it. Betrayal, man. It was
Massive.
so massive. The mechanic was ridiculously confusing at the time, but it was so engaging and so, like, the theory behind it and figuring out how to get the most out of it. And this was a very special league for me because from everything I had learned from Delve League crafting, I managed to craft my way up to my first ever mirror by selling items.
Whoa.
Profit crafting in this league.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's a big one.
That's a big one. So it was like an amazing league, an amazing patch. So much. This is like my favorite kind of league mechanic. Just complex, interesting, something you can sink your teeth into. And then it also has like an end game portion where you go into the Syndicate hideouts. And then you also have the Katarina boss fight. And then there's all this new stuff. I love this league.
I agree. It's a good one. I'm with it. I could be persuaded to S tier. I'm good with that.
You could. It was like the beginning of modern PoE to me. Well, not the beginning. I'd say Delve Incursion was the beginning of modern PoE, but Betrayal was just such a step up, man. It was crazy.
This was also the introduction of, because the old masters faded. This was the
Yes.
introduction of the new masters, which is, at that time, it was just 3. It was just Alva, Einhar, and Nico. And I mean, again, that concept is pretty much in the same vein as Legacy League. It's like pretty much they took that and moved it over. And I would put this right as a massive milestone.
Yeah.
In PoE. So I'm with it.
We're gonna put it S tier.
I'm good with S tier. I would put it. I mean, you love Delve so much. Delve fanboy over here. Would you put it above Delve?
It's like these two are almost tied for me. Almost.
I'll let you make that heartbreaking decision.
These leagues back to back were just insane. So good. Like some of the best times in PoE I've ever had.
I was saying while you were gone that the next several leagues after Delve for me were very just nonstop hits.
Yeah. Just banger after banger after banger.
That's exactly how I phrased it.
Is it?
Yep, that you nailed it.
Perfect. Wait, my camera, my angle. There we go. Okay. So yeah, Betrayal. How was the patch that came with Betrayal?
Betrayal patch was version 3.5, and that came with, well, I mean, I feel like the Masters situation was kind of like a byproduct of the league mechanic. We got brands in this patch.
Oh,
that's pretty big.
That's big.
Steel skills.
Yeah.
Lancing steel, shattering steel. We got, I mean, focus, again, another byproduct of the patch, is I still think is kind of a cool. I would not want a game that revolves around focus-like mechanics exclusively, but having it as a singular cooldown in that way is pretty good. Or like a singular. I feel like this is the closest thing we have to like a true power cooldown. I mean, there are things that you could argue like are in that vein, right? Vol skills, things like that. But I think focus is kind of a little bit of a league of its own.
Yeah.
With that, in my view, but focus is cool. We've got, let's see.
Veiled modifiers also pretty big.
There's a bunch of skill reworks. Veiled mods were huge.
Yeah.
I mean, this is a pretty big patch overall. A lot of mechanical changes, a lot of balances. I would put it right. I think you're right on with your placement.
And this was this not a Christmas League? 3.50?
This was no. Delve was a Christmas League.
Delve was a Christmas League. Okay.
Oh no. Wait, no. I'm sorry. You're right. This was you're right. This was the Christmas League. I thought Delve was. But
so
yeah.
did this come with an expansion? Didn't this come with an expansion?
This did not.
It didn't? No. Okay.
Oh no, you're right. Betrayal was the expansion. Interesting.
Wait, was it?
I guess the master rework was, I guess, large enough for it to consider an expansion.
Okay, but we're not talking about like Atlas of Worlds tier expansion. New Masters was the expansion. No. Okay. All right.
I would say by expansion standards, this was a smaller expansion.
Yeah, but it was still huge. It was still huge.
Still huge.
Very
but
soft
not like
spot.
an end-game revamp.
Now,
in that way, like in terms of the mapping system.
Yeah. What's next? Do you remember?
Oh, I remember. This league was pretty controversial, I would say. It was pretty a little bit divisive, polarizing even. This was Synthesis League.
Synthesis League.
Now,
Another.
I played the shit out of Synthesis League personally. I love Synthesis League. I'll be honest. There's very few leagues that I actively hate. Like there's not a lot that comes to mind where I'm like, this was horrible, because the base game of PoE is so strong. Synthesis League played right into that. I thought Synthesis League was another, again, very similar Betrayal, where I looked at it, I was watching the trailer, and I said, I don't understand what's going on.
Yeah, exactly.
in this trailer, but it was fun. I really enjoyed it. This is another league where I just kind of like winged it, but I don't think Synthesis League was nearly as good as Delve or Betrayal, but I do think it was, for me, a solid A tier.
Yeah, so this was the first spreadsheet league, like the actual first spreadsheet league, man.
Yeah.
It was crazy how much you had to do to get the item you want. I
never cracked that mechanic.
You never cracked it?
I never cracked it. No, I just had I had about 9 quad tabs filled with items that I just had at, what's it called? Like one price. And I just let them open, and I would just be like, I'm just putting all this shit in there, and I'll let someone else figure this out.
Yeah. Exactly. So it was a very ambitious league, should we say? I
would say agree. Yes.
I have a confession.
Yes.
Because I went so hard on Betrayal with crafting and like making my first mirror, I started playing Synthesis, and it kind of was just a bit too much for me. I got to Blood Aqueducts in Act 9, and I said, you know what? I want to just craft more. I played Standard that league.
No.
I did.
Oh my
I just played Standard. I sat in my hideout. I crafted items, and I was so happy. I had such a great time. So you're going to be the decider on this one.
Synthesis League for me is above Breach, below Abyss.
Above Breach, below Abyss. Abyss, remind me.
Abyss was, it came with something. What's it? Abyss? I think Abyss came with, let's find out. Abyss version history 3.1. Abyss came with War for the Atlas. I feel pretty good about that placement. Synthesis for me was an A tier league, and I'm not ashamed of that.
I think A tier is a good place for it. It was ambitious, big. I really miss leagues like that, and we'll get into that as we get up the list.
I think that Synthesis League, and I will say within the scope of current PoE, I see a league like Synthesis certainly returning, like in that nature. I don't think this is so far off from where they are now. Yeah, personally. In terms of like the level of complexity they're willing to unleash on the player base, I don't see this as being too far off. Anyway, and I know Arrow loves Synthesis League.
Oh, so,
his his spirit lives on in this placement.
Did this come with the patch? Was the patch,
The patch
crazy? Maloney's?
The patch, it introduced Bane. Okay, Subtractum would also agree.
Yeah.
Zealotry,
Mm-hmm.
Malevolence, Divine Ire, Energy Leech. There's a bunch of very impactful gems. I mean, the idea of Energy Shield Leech was added in this patch.
That's
which
pretty
is
big.
crazy.
Yeah.
A lot of skill rebalance. This is a big league. I would say in terms
league.
of skill rebalance. Yeah, I'm fortifying that opinion of high A.
Okay, I think it's a good one. But next we have a beloved league, Legion League.
Cyclone League.
Cyclone League. How do you feel about Legion?
As a true meta enjoyer, I played Cyclone. I farmed tier 3 glaciers. And I had a great time the whole league doing it.
Yeah.
I think the Legion mechanic is still maybe my favorite mechanic.
Really?
Yes, I love Legion. I do it every single league without fail. However, it was a pretty singularly focused league in that it was kind of Cyclone or bust for most of the people.
Wait. So excuse me. You're forgetting about one other skill that was really good. ED Contagion. Dude, this was
I never played ED Contagion because I hate 2-button builds.
Oh, it was so good. You just hit it with like one ED Contagion to go and destroy the whole thing.
I'll take your word for it. I did not. So I'm willing to put this in the league. I would put this right in B tier.
Right in B tier? Yeah. Okay.
For me. What do you think?
That's kind of I would probably put it like top of B tier.
Yeah, I'm good with that.
Top of B tier. How was the patch? The big downfall of Legion was that people cheesed it. So we all farmed Glacier tier 2 or tier 3 or whatever for the whole league, and we all got really rich, but very few people went above white maps. So we got a fifth map slot, right? Yeah, that was big.
That's true. We did get a fifth map slot. I don't think.
By the way, Betrayal introduced Scarabs. By the way.
Oh yes, true,
just
true. I was gonna say,
a small thing.
Yeah. I'm still good with where we are on that. Oh, he's moving it. My God,
dude, we gotta put it above Delve. I love Delve, but holy shit, dude, Betrayal, Scarabs, all that other stuff. Anyway.
Okay.
Back to
this patch was a lot, but because the balance was so off in this with I feel still set in B personally.
Yeah, B. And didn't come with a big expansion?
I don't.
No.
Believe so.
No, I know which one the next big expansion was. So when was the first Exarchon?
That was.
Yeah.
Yes.
When what? How long do you have? Because I know you have a job and stuff.
I probably have like 30 or 40 more minutes.
All right. Okay. Cool.
We're moving. We're good.
All right.
We've only got about 25 leagues left.
Only about 25. I'm just trying to find when was Exarchon?
It was 2019, but I think it was was it fall 2019? That feels right.
God damn it, you Americans with your seasons.
Was this just worldwide fall 2019?
Yeah, worldwide. Okay, it was July 29th to 30th.
Okay, so it was summer.
So we got Legion League, and then toward the tail end of that we got don't worry. Anyway, Blight League was next, right?
Yes. So Blight League I did play, but Blight League clashed with the release of Classic WoW.
Yeah.
Yes. So I only played a little bit of Blight League. Which is kind of sad because Blight is my favorite mechanic in current PoE. But Blight League, I honestly only played for like a week, so I don't really remember too much about it. From a league perspective.
I did play because I didn't play Classic WoW or WoW Classic or whatever you call it. I do fondly remember Blight. It was a cool league. weird, super weird idea. I think, was this one of the first times they introduced a kind of crossover with like another game? Blighted maps, I kind of want to put it like behind Legion.
As far as I recall, and maybe someone who played more will jog my memory, blighted maps themselves were extremely rare during Blight League. I feel like I remember that was a big complaint, was that blighted maps were super uncommon. So people were like, I like Blight, but I can never play the blighted maps because I'm not dropping them.
Yeah, it was something like that.
I feel like that's a memory I have. Although again, I didn't play that much, so I'll defer to you on this one.
And this was Blight League the Life Isn't Fair League?
Oh man, I don't remember.
Empyrean. Life isn't fair.
Completely forgot about that until you just said it.
I remember something happened to MP during this league. Or was that later? Oh, that was no. That was an ultimatum, was it? Oh, was it ultimatum? Dude, that's some solid drama. Something happened with them around this stage as well.
Next time we're gonna have to do the PoE drama tier list.
Yeah. Oh yeah. That sounds like a fun one. We can lock it in.
Yeah.
I'm sure we're gonna get some good drama in like a week. Yeah. So
hopefully not.
Hopefully not. I hope not. Where are we gonna put Blight?
I would put Blight solidly at the maybe end of B for me.
End of B. All right.
The thing is, it's kind of a little bit of there's a slight recency bias, but there's also like the early leagues are just so bare bones compared to like these later leagues that I feel like it's going to be very heavily shifted with the later leagues being higher tier. So I feel like there's not going to be very many leagues that fall into like the FD tier in the modern PoE because like the leagues are just, I think they're stronger.
We'll see about that.
Okay, here we go.
We'll see about that.
Here we go. Well, I said not very many. I said not very many. Not none.
Not none. Okay.
Okay.
Well, next we've got a very big one, and you might not.
Yeah, Metamorph was a big one.
Metamorph was a big one, not because Metamorph the mechanic was good. It was horrendous. You had to pick up every single organ in every map. It was horrible.
Well, they patched that. They did
patch it. Fair enough. But this came with Conquerors of the Atlas, didn't it? It
did. It did come with Conquerors of the Atlas, which is made the Atlas at that time significantly improved.
Yeah.
I would put Metamorph. I mean, Metamorph was the first time I made a YouTube video. Yep.
Oh, really?
I made a YouTube video. If you sort my channel, newest to oldest, or oldest to newest, my first video was during Metamorph. And then I took a 9-month break, give or take. And came back refreshed. Not 9-month content break. I still played the leagues. Metamorph was fun. Metamorph, I remember playing the Baron zombies.
Oh yeah.
That was good at the time. That was the first character I pushed it and encouraged him. But this is the first character I feel like I remember thinking like this is like the strongest build I've ever made.
Yeah.
I would put it right up there. I would say that's an A tier for me at least.
A tier.
Maybe even S tier, honestly.
Yeah, I'm kind of feeling like it might even be S tier for the amount of stuff that was added with the Conquerors and Cirrus. Cirrus was horrible at the time, so buggy.
Terrible.
Trying to do that fight with
a cool idea.
A great idea, really cool. Guitaraholic said that's when he started playing. Warbands, man, I keep forgetting. What did Warbands come with anything else? It must have come with something else.
With the introduction of me to Path of Exile. I don't remember.
Right. There was something else.
Warbands League was the Awakening.
Okay.
That was Act 4.
Act 4? Are we really going to keep that in S tier?
I would move Warbands to A tier.
Yeah.
I'm good with that. Top of A, I would say, though.
It's top of A. Okay.
Oh, he wants to put it behind Abyss. He thinks he could sneak it in. Like, I'm not paying attention.
Yeah. Oh, the Watchstone grind. Man, I kind of... where do you want to put this? Top of A? Top of A for
I'm fine with top of A works for me. I feel like that feels right. We can reevaluate as we move along.
We will.
I think that's fine.
Once we got the context.
Yeah.
All right. Ooh.
So sorry, I lost my place. Okay. Next one was Delirium League, which literally coincided with, in the United States, the very
Lockdown.
beginning of lockdown. Yep.
Yeah. Mhm.
Delirium League was very bad at the start.
It was so hard. So
And
hard.
then it was sick.
And then it was sick. Then it was
Del-
so sick.
yeah. Delirium, I did not play as much relative as other leagues,
Okay.
but I do remember thinking it was okay.
What were you busy doing? This was like peak, well,
Yeah,
not
that's a great
peak COVID.
question. What was I busy doing?
You weren't going outside, right?
I was not. No, I was not going outside. I was very firmly in my apartment. I think I was playing Tarkov.
Ooh. Ouch.
Yeah,
Okay. Well,
yeah.
you're banned.
Yeah,
But
ban this.
Delhi for me, man, cluster jewels. We got
Yep,
the
that's a
Delhi
huge thing.
mechanic. We got simulacrums. Again, one of those in-game, in-map systems that has a thing beyond it that's really cool. Those are the kind of leagues I love. I love Delhi League. I think this was
Yeah.
the first time I farmed a headhunter through Doxer cards just by spamming burial chambers. Cluster jewels were the most insane thing at the time in terms of build diversity. We
They
had,
still are pretty crazy.
yeah, oh, they're still so good. We had Herald. What was the? There was one of the first mid league nerfs because there was a build that was so broken.
Yes, it was. I think it was.
Wasn't a
What was the
Herald.
name of that node?
Herald stacker.
Yes, it was
Yeah, it
Heralds,
was.
but there was a node. It was a specific node.
Uh,
It was. What was it? Was it introspection?
no. It's on the tip of my tongue. The
I mean, I
Herald.
remember there was like a post from GGG basically like apologizing for having to do
Yeah.
this. They were like, "This is just like out of control."
Yeah. Well,
But
for context,
Purposeful Harbinger. That's it. Yep,
Purposeful Harbinger, yeah. For context, they nerfed this skill, and it was, I think, the first time they'd ever done a mid-league nerf. After
Like
they
a really
nerfed
big
it,
mid-league nerf.
it still did so much damage that you would get like an overflow on your DPS number where it would show you doing negative damage. That's how good it was. It was completely broken. I kind of... Oh, another thing that happened in Delhi League. I decided I wanted to farm a Voices. Voices was super rare. And all my friends, all league had been linking me Voices. Oh, I found Voices. Like it's averaging like 1 every 15. You get a Voices. And I ran so many. I ran 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. Still no Voices. And I was like, my goal this league is just to get a Voices drop and then I can quit. Number 76.
But did you get one?
I did. I finally got my Voices. And guess what?
It was a 7 passive.
It was a 1 passive.
No shot.
A 1 passive voice. I'm sure I have a screenshot somewhere. It was probably the first drop that I ever got that I was like shaking from. I'm sure I must have this on my computer somewhere. But I got nothing, 1 passive voices. Nope, that's just me. It's somewhere around here. It's somewhere. I'll find it, but such a good memory. I sold it for 2 mirrors instantly. And
hell yeah.
So I want to put it kind of like back of S here, but I'm up for debate.
I'll let you guide that one because I didn't play as much because I was busy playing Escape from Tarkov.
I'm putting.
But, it was very good. It was very, very good, and still again,
Crazy league,
monumentally impactful today.
All right, next.
Harvest League. So I think it's important to separate modern day Harvest, the controversy around Harvest after release, with the league itself. Agreed?
Absolutely.
Okay. So Harvest League at the time was extremely powerful, but monumentally tedious.
It was, again, another spreadsheet league.
Very much a spreadsheet league. It introduced extremely deterministic crafting relative. I would venture to say Harvest League itself was like a C tier league.
Yeah, I'm thinking the same. It was
I mean, yeah. Sorry, go ahead.
micromanaging was insane. You had to like go on Reddit to find the correct layout to get the tier 4 seeds, and just a pain in the butt
Yeah.
to deal with.
I would honestly put that. Yeah, I think top of C because generally like the let's actually look at the patch, but the like in terms of just like overall, at least it added something more substantial than all three of the leagues before it in C tier. So I'm good with where it is, but it's not as far as modern day PoE leagues go. At least at that time, this was probably the worst.
Yeah, pretty rough, not super well loved league at the time. At the time, it did have a comeback though, as we all know.
It did have a comeback. Oh yeah,
which we'll get into. So it did introduce some new stuff, Faceted Lens, Gift to the Goddess, some other stuff, but
Shaco.
Yeah. Oh, Shaco. Yeah. Some items, nothing too crazy. Doriani's apparently. Oh no.
Yeah.
They just. I don't know.
I'm good with where it is. I'm good.
I'm good. To move on.
Heist League. Heist League.
Insane.
So Heist was an insane league. Heist was after a very consistent 12, 13 week league. Heist was very long. And do you remember why it got extended?
Tell me.
Cyberpunk.
Oh.
It got extended because of Cyberpunk.
Yes.
I think they didn't want to repeat another Blight
WoW,
League situation with Classic WoW, Which I understand from their perspective.
Okay.
But this was the first 16-week league since Harbinger.
Since Harbinger. I even wrote a lyric about this in one of my songs where I said, CD Projekt Red, they ruined our Christmas League. And it's never been the same since. Whoa. We haven't ever had our Christmas League since this league.
What do you mean? We had a... What do you mean we had a Christmas League?
Well, we didn't have that like end of year big expansion since. Well, we've had big expansions, but they were never like end of year. Were they? Oh, no, wait. They were. No.
Yeah, I don't
know. No. It wasn't.
Oh, we had like I mean, it depends on what your definition of expansion is. Like we had Sanctum, which started the 9th of December and ended in April. I would consider that a Christmas expansion.
I would no. I would draw your attention to the league that comes after this one. So Christmas League, when I say Christmas League, it was always the big end of year expansion, which was holy crap, they're adding Ascendancies or the Atlas of Worlds or what we'll see next. And this threw that rhythm off, thanks to Cyberpunk. So, Heist? This is when I started making YouTube videos around Heist.
This was when this is when I really kicked off. This is when the metamorph to Heist was the gap. And I'm with you. This is when I started. I loved Heist. I still love Heist. Yeah. I'm a big Heist enjoyer. I don't do it every league, but I usually do it most leagues, I would say. I'm a fan. I enjoyed it.
You're a fan? I think it was also very ambitious, interesting. It was one of the first times we saw some of the modern art that we're seeing in PoE 2. So it just looked really cool. However, it was giga buggy on League start.
Yes. Also, if you remember, if you were playing a minion build in the beginning of Heist before they patched it, you increased your alert level with killing mobs or aggroing them, if I remember correctly. Yeah. And so, like, if you killed them, you increased it, and minion builds just were bricked in Heist before they patched it. Yeah.
And replicas and ult quality gems.
Heist was ultra aura stacking league too. I played EK aura stacker. Scion had a blast. I was alternating between doing a full run up to Cyrus and then just doing all my contracts. I like Heist was the league I played probably the most at that time. For me, Heist. That being said, as far as like patches go, I would probably put Heist maybe below Betrayal.
You're gonna put it in S tier?
I would, but it's up to you.
Oh, I was thinking more like top of A tier, or
okay. How about we compromise at the end of S tier?
At the end of S tier, I guess
after Delirium.
if we look at the amount of stuff added, just like how insane that league was, we both started our YouTube channels around then.
Yeah,
I'm pretty
and
sure
that's
I'm
S tier alone.
Yeah, okay. S tier for memories. The friends we
Yep.
made along the way.
Then isn't that when you made your Void Sphere video?
Yeah. And then I think I also messaged you on your YouTube channel. It's like, hey, we should be friends.
This was right around that time for sure. This was you and I were both, I remember, under 1,000 subs.
Yeah.
And we were like going back and forth commenting on each other's YouTube videos. Yeah.
I just wanted to make friends.
Dude, I'm with it. I'm with it.
Hell yeah.
And here we are 4 years later. Crazy.
Yeah. Crazy. Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Next one. You good to move on?
The next one's so good. Yes, give it to me.
Ritual League / that patch is the best patch ever in Path of Exile. I would put that at #1 S tier in my mind. Not
really?
Even. Yes. I think Ritual mechanic at that time was sick. The patch introduced Maven. It was a complete endgame rework. I don't think you can beat this. Ritual S tier today. I said it.
Yep. Well, okay. Well, it also introduced the
got him.
We got the reintroduction of Harvest, which made crafting insane items really, really not easy, but you could do it. You could basically make whatever your mind could envision. And this opened up build diversity. We got Maven with this. We got the mini Atlas passive trees at the time. Huge league. I think. Are we gonna? It's without a doubt S tier, but you want to put it up here above Essence.
I would. I have only good memories about this league, and I think relative to the other patches, I would say that, I mean, it's definitely above Betrayal. It's in terms of patches. I would say Parandus we said was Ascendancy. I would still put it. I would put it somewhere in that first 3. Feels right.
I think Ritual is like peak PoE.
I had a blast.
Just
3.13.
the best patch.
This was the introduction of reworked Harvest.
Yeah.
Too, at that time, which was like basically again guaranteed crafting. I would say the people were farming it. I mean, I just remember farming Ritual or Harvest crafts all day long.
Yep. So good.
It was I would put it right up there. I think that's peak for sure.
I think so. I'm actually okay with that. I just the feeling I get when I think about that league is just so positive. Just the vibe that everyone had, like hanging out on Badge's stream, and he's like making 4 videos a day live on stream. So good. Such a good patch.
I'm aligned.
Yeah.
Next one.
Yep.
Ultimatum. Circle League 2.0.
Yep.
I loved. So there's a couple things to say here, I think, but you want to kick off, and then I'll jump in.
I mean, I gotta say, I was a bit disappointed having 2 Ultimatum leagues. I mean, 2 Circle leagues back to back. And
okay, sure.
Well, we had some epic drama with the streamer queue, where streamers got instant priority with getting into,
which was only magnified because of the login issues. I would say if there was no login issues, that wouldn't have mattered.
Yes, and an MP dropped the banger "Life Isn't Fair" when people complained. And then proceeded to get banned for something that is not really that bad, but cool. I didn't love it at the time. No, this is an S for drama, but I think if this had come at a different time, I would have loved it more, but it was just 2 Circle leagues back to back. And if you look at what we had before that with like Heist, Metamorph, Synthesis, like the scope of these, Delve, all of these things, this just felt way too simple to me.
So I will say Ultimatum at that time, I thought Ultimatum was just the shit.
Really?
I loved the mechanic. I don't care about the double Circle League. That didn't matter to me. I remember I have distinct memories farming the quarry, doing ultimatums.
Oh yeah,
100 C an hour ultimatums,
which is good at the time.
I love the mechanic so much, which was not bad. Yeah, I remember this was the first league where I remember having like 30,000 chaos orbs because ultimatum just shat out chaos. I would say, for me, ultimatum is at the very end of A. Personally,
very end of A. Yes. And this was still before they nerfed Harvest.
This was before.
Or did
No,
they
they nerfed
nerf
Harvest.
Harvest
They
this
nerfed Harvest
league?
this league. This league. Yeah, this was the Harvest changes.
Yeah,
this was the Harvest nerf. I would still say A tier.
yeah.
I enjoyed Ultimate personally.
I mean, Harvest was OP, but it was basically an item editor in a way. But it was really cool and interesting. I do kind of miss
Trial
it.
Master, sick NPC.
Yeah, end of A, top of B, kind of around there. Since you have such a strong feeling about it, I'll give it to you. I'll give you the A.
Let's go.
On
Bulldozed
Ultimate.
again.
R.I.P. Harvest though.
R.I.P. Harvest. Moving on.
A controversial one.
Next one, very controversial one. So next league was Expedition. What are your thoughts?
I loved everything about this patch. Almost.
Whoa.
Not quite everything, but I was.
Hold on, I have a soundboard clip for this. 1 second.
All right.
Hold on.
Okay. Let's get it.
Whoa!
Whoa! Nice. I love this mechanic to this day. Insane league mechanic, so good. One of the most despised patches of all time. People hated Expedition. They nerfed so much stuff. I don't remember feeling it that much. I remember kind of being in favor of the nerf because everything was just spiraling out of control. So I was kind of in favor of the nerf at the time. So I love Expedition. Even the patch. Controversial take.
Yeah. I mean, I think that there's a lot of points where they overdid it. Like the flasks were too much. Mana costs at launch were too much. I think conceptually I was aligned with where they're going, but I think execution was not 100% there. For that being said, Expedition mechanic was sick, and I think it got overshadowed at that time because the patch was so brutal.
It was.
I also have distinctly fond memories of playing SST, which was hugely meta at the time.
Yes, man. Cold SST.
Cold SST Raider was sick.
So fun.
I think it was Tuna's build, if I remember right.
Yes, it was Tuna's. Yep.
I would put Expedition in B tier. Maybe C tier.
What? Because of the patch?
I just felt like it was such like a weird, like, I don't know. It was one of those times where you're like, you don't feel good, but you're having fun kind of thing.
Dude.
Like the climate was so rocky, you know?
You know what? The reason that we have the shit dead boring ass meta that we do now, the stale meta for the last 2 years, where DD is DD. Whoa! That is so loud, but I love it. Don't stop.
Sorry.
It's because people lost their minds at nerfs. We need nerfs back. Buff stuff, nerf stuff.
You heard it here first, guys. Lolcohol pro nerf.
But yep, like Guitaraholic said, the reason we have shit like tier 17s and DD for the last 2 years is because of this patch and how negatively people responded to it. We need another Expedition. We need Expedition 2.0. That's my opinion. I personally would put this up on like A tier, but you were saying C tier.
I said B tier.
You said B?
I would be comfortable because I love the Expedition mechanic so much. I would be willing to put it in low A. How about that?
Low A? So I was thinking S tier patch, S tier mechanic, but I'll settle on B. B.
Okay.
Just to avoid the hate comments.
Yeah. Fair enough.
And even though they did change some stuff, look, it wasn't a perfect patch. They did nerf some stuff like way too hard, and they made Floss like really shit. They did learn a lot of stuff from it. From it. Floss are way better now, I would say, than they were before.
Yeah, I would agree. I think it was too much at the time, but it's been rolled back a little bit.
Yeah.
And we're in a good spot now. Next one. So Scourge League is impactful for a couple reasons. If you remember, Scourge League was the start of the podcast.
Oh, yeah, it was.
Huge.
With Sniz.
I have distinct memories after of talking about Mage Blood, which I believe was introduced in Scourge League, if I remember correctly.
It was.
So that alone that's a big one. Scourge League itself, okay. I do have good memories of playing white map towers. I think you did the same thing.
Yes, Nem 4 farming in tower
I didn't do Nem 4. I
or
just
Nem 3.
did magic finding in
Okay.
low tier towers and
Yeah.
farming nurses. Scourge League is tricky because I feel like it was kind of like a little bit overhyped
Mm.
and a little bit under delivered. Like the corrupting mechanic or whatever was pretty bad.
Yeah.
But Scourge itself was kind of cool. It was like kind of like cool MFE league, maybe like Affliction Light almost. I don't know.
I
What do you
feel
think?
like I really liked it. I MF my brains out, and one of my best memories from this is I found my first mirror ever in PoE.
Oh,
So I streamed for like 4 hours MFing tower. I ended my stream, came back like an hour later, I opened a map, shot a mob in like the first pack, heard a swing, ran over, and it was a mirror. And I was like,
whoa.
again, like that moment of just shaking, sitting there staring at the screen.
Yeah.
Wasn't on stream. So I'm sad about that. This is
Wasn't on stream. I'm on to you.
yeah, it totally didn't count. I mean, a good league, but I feel this was also a weird turning point for PoE where it felt like the league was almost unfinished and there was stuff that they wanted to add. Like again, think of synthesis, think of how the scope of that, or like betrayal or heist even, and then we get Scourge, and it just felt kind of unfinished. So
yes,
it was
I would agree.
fun, but it was like it's something's missing, man. It doesn't have that extra layer of like with Betrayal, you've got these syndicate safe houses, and then you've got Katarina. But Scourge was just like you get 2 maps and you corrupt
First
your items.
drop is
special.
Your personal. Yeah. Come on.
I would probably
that's big.
It is big, but I'd probably put this like B tier. What do you think?
I would say
C
tier. Yeah, I would say C
above
tier.
Harvest.
I would say above Harvest, below Blight for sure.
Above Harvest, below Blight. Yeah, I had a lot of fun. I probably had more fun in Scourge than Blight, but
I just didn't play Blight enough to have much of an opinion. But
yeah, it just felt unfinished.
I'm good with this.
All right.
Yeah.
Next up.
Yeah, the Krangling was terrible.
The
Next
Krangling.
was Arch Nemesis.
Arch Nemesis.
So the mechanic itself was shit.
The mechanic was F tier. Horrible.
But the patch was sick.
The patch was insane. And it was?
Yeah, the patch was sick. Because of that, I would say the mechanic was inoffensive. It was like a little bit like, it was not fun to do, but like it didn't detract from the patch. Do you know what I mean?
Yes. Yeah. You could ignore it. You could ignore it.
Yeah. For me, this is like high A.
Well, let's talk about the patch. What did this come with? One of the most insane changes to PoE.
Yes, I'm jumping ahead. Siege of the Atlas.
Siege of the Atlas.
This was the influences. This was red and blue influence, which was, I mean, we're still living in that world. This was Void Stones, huge. This is the new Atlas of World. This is the modern Atlas of World. I would say this is right up there with some of the most impactful.
This was
in PoE.
huge. Massive.
1 second, sorry.
Sure, go for it. All right, I'll tell you my thoughts on Arch Nemesis. Like everyone said, shitty mechanic, but Atlas of Worlds, Atlas passive tree was so cool. So cool when we saw it. And also introduced the Exarch and Eater, and got a lot of cool stuff with this. We got new influence, the last time we ever saw new influence types. Previously, we'd seen tons of new influence types with like Shaper, we got new influence, Elder, new influence, all these things. So yeah, I'm feeling like high A. Metamorph, behind Metamorph, above Metamorph, around here is sort of where I'm feeling. You know what carries Scourge? Isn't that when we got the new passive tree? You're right. I think we did when we got masteries and stuff, right? Below meta, above synth. Yeah, I'll let's see what Omisid says when he gets back. We got Archnem.
I'm back.
You're back?
Oh, I'm back. Sorry, I was about to explode. I had to go to the bathroom so bad.
Oh, all
Arch
good.
Nemesis, I would say, I think it's probably low S. Honestly, I think we need to move Heist down.
You want to move Heist down? Okay.
I think so. I think so.
I think so too. Yeah. I don't think it's quite S tier.
Yeah, but I would put Arch Nemesis at the top of A.
Top of A.
Personally.
I don't think Heist is not better than Metamorph and like.
No, I don't.
Conquerors.
Actually, I do agree. Yeah, I think that's right.
Yeah. So top of A, bottom of. Yeah, I don't feel like it's quite S tier. It's amazing that we got the passive tree, but it wasn't like as impactful as Ascendancies or just the introduction of the Atlas or all that stuff. But it did introduce modern PoE, which lets us just customize what we want to do in the end game, and that's the PoE we know now.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Next, I'm good to move on.
All right. Oh,
Sentinel
League. One of the most goated S tier. Yeah. The only shit thing about Sentinel was that there was no balance patch. So they didn't rework any skills, nothing.
Yes.
That was a disappointment, but in terms of fun, Recombinators,
Stick.
So fun.
This was, I think in terms of the fine line between crafting and gambling.
Yes.
Sentinels really hit that line perfectly.
And did we get Ubers this league?
Did we? I don't think so.
Oh, actually,
maybe?
wait. Oh, nice.
No, I don't think so.
Hold on, wait. There are some things about Sentinel League. Did Sentinel League not introduce the change to rare monsters with Arch Nemesis mods?
Sentinel was the permanent Arch Nem change, and they tweaked it a significant amount in this. I think that is a good point.
That's got to detract. It's got to detract.
Arch Nemesis was they just refused to surrender on Arch Nemesis. But the mechanic itself was so fun.
The mechanic
I think A is good.
I think A is good. Above Arch Nemesis? Probably.
Yeah. Probably. Well, the thing is, the base game was so weird because the rare.
Yeah.
I think it's above Metamorph, below Arch Nem. I think that's where I would
maybe something like that. It was such a fun thing. I know that Mox Pebble got a mirror doing that. Which is a bit of a deep dive. Sentinel, probably A tier, I would say. It was just so fun. But the game was a bit broken foundationally.
I was playing Ark at the time. I have distinct memories.
Oh, I remember. Yes.
Love me some Ark. Okay.
Next
one.
All right. Well, this is gonna
Calandra League.
Lake.
Easy S. Move on.
Top of S tier. Yep. Absolutely.
I would say top of S tier is probably the right place for that.
Dude, this is the Fest of F tier leagues.
We will not be taking comments at this time.
This is the worst. Actually, is it the worst league?
I don't think so.
There might be one worse, which we'll get to, but holy shit, what a disaster.
I'm going to fight for that one, but we'll get there. Calandra, I don't think is the worst league ever made. I don't think that's fair, personally.
Really?
I would put it. I think Calandra was more of just like a communications issue. Like there was just like.
Yeah, that something weird was happening.
There wasn't like the game itself was flawed at that moment for sure. There was a lot of issues.
It was broken.
However, I think a lot of this could have been potentially relieved by better communication all around. Like the player base was kind of like rampantly communicating about things that were not necessarily true. GGG, I feel like, was not responding quick enough to a lot of these things. I think that was kind of the breakdown. I think if a lot of these things had been resolved faster and the communication was a little bit tighter, it might have been.
It could have been saved.
So poorly received.
But it was just
yeah.
Do you remember the drops in that league? There was 100% something off with the drops because
it did feel off. Yep.
This
agree.
was when did they try to rectify Arch Nem, or they didn't fully back down from it. Everyone hated Arch Nemesis at the time. And
Yes. So I think this was the last league where that was the case.
yeah, and they've messed up the
correctly.
drop rates where like I was in tier 16s, I had like 4 chromatics. I had to go on the trade site to buy ulks to ulk my maps. Just it was broken. And then you have people getting like 70 divines. This was Loot Goblin League with a
Yeah.
the league mechanic
The thing
itself.
was also the Exalted Divine Orb swap, which at the
Ah,
time was kind of controversial. Today, I think was one of the best changes they've made in
yeah,
recent years.
I agree.
So, uh, I don't know. At the time, I remember thinking this is just brutal. But now I look back and I don't feel so strongly. But
Really.
I would be willing to put it at the bottom of D.
This is a
Because it
hard
was just kind
F
of like,
tier. This is a hard F tier for
wow.
me.
Okay, all right.
It was so shit. Bottom of
Okay.
D? How's people it's not F? I
F, no compromise.
okay, it's
It
gotta
has to be
be
below bestiary.
okay, it's below bestiary. That's shameful
That's
enough, right?
that's where I put it. It's the second worst in the current list.
Okay. All right. Well,
It's not like D tier is good. Let's not get it twisted.
yeah, no. D is like
Yeah.
easy skip. I feel like it's an F. I'll settle on worse than bestiary.
Yeah.
But
I'm good with that.
man,
I'm good with that.
it was a rough patch, and it was also 4-month league because this is
Brutal.
the turning point
This is
for
the
4 months
beginning.
leagues. Yeah. Ay, oy vey. Okay, well,
The
after
thing is,
yeah,
Kalandra preceded an absolute god league of Sanctum.
Sanctum, hell yes, amazing,
Sanctum
amazing.
Sanctum, I feel like was the point where people would say, like, if, like, for example, if you didn't like the later league mechanics like Crucible or whatever, they would say,
Mm-hmm.
but the base game is perfect, so
Mm,
it's good. Like it doesn't matter. You know what I mean?
yes.
People were like, yeah, I'm playing standard because I'm skipping Crucible every map, but the base game is so good. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
I would put Sanctum in S tier
I would
for
as
me.
well. And this was when they finally relented, right, on Archnem and reverted.
Yeah,
Well,
I believe that was the case. Yeah.
yeah, they didn't go back to
Yes, it
how it
is.
was, but it was way better because Arch Nemesis monsters had like 6 modifiers each. Each potential
Yep.
modifier could had like 6 mods, and it would just be a name, and you would have to go and like learn them and study them and know what they all do. And this, they were like, okay, screw that, we're just gonna simplify it.
Yeah, they toned it down a lot.
So
It's still in the game, but they just toned it down a lot
yeah,
and made it a little bit less punishing. I, on the list, I would put Sanctum above Delve.
you what?
That's right. That's right. Sleep on that one.
I can't put it above. I can't put it above Delve.
You see this chat? He's the dictator of the tier list.
Delve is my special league.
Okay, we'll protect your special league. Let's put it right below Delve. How about that?
What is your favorite league of all time? You haven't told us yet.
Ritual.
Ritual. Okay. All right.
Yeah, Ritual.
I will
I
allow
really
it.
like Sanctum though. Sanctum was right up there. If I was purely looking at the league mechanics,
Mhm.
Sanctum was number one for me.
Really? Okay. It
Yes.
was very cool. Amazing league. Amazing league. The only downside, it was a 4-month league, which I gotta deduct points from.
It was, but as if you're gonna have a 4-month league, this is a good one to have.
It was a good one. It was a good one to have. I would personally probably drop it below Delhi, but I'll put it Delve.
Yeah.
I'll allow it to slip in here.
Okay,
They
that's
did,
fair.
yeah. They fixed Archnem. Praise
I
be.
think this was just such a. I mean, this was like in terms of out of map mechanics. I think this is the best one by a
Yeah,
mile.
so cool, so good.
Next one, we went from Sanctum into Crucible.
Oh,
Here's the thing. Crucible, in terms of the type of power it introduced, I still think is really sick.
yeah,
The mechanic implementation was maybe one of the worst, though,
horrible,
in modern PoE.
horrible.
Like, just really, really unbearable to run Crucibles. But
Mm-hmm.
the reward was so good and so interesting, and it changed the way you played so much that I feel like it has some level of redemption
Okay.
for me. I would put Crucible in the right above Scourge.
Above Scourge?
Yeah, in C tier
Huh.
for me.
I would
What
put
do you
it,
think?
I would put it below Scourge.
Really?
I would go so far as to put in D tier, man.
Wow.
Scourge. I mean, it's Crucible. It again, it had that feeling of an unfinished league where, again, previously we would get Synthesis with this crazy system and like big endgame bosses. This is when I started realizing, oh shit, they're investing all their resources into PoE 2. Because they have that like Forge of the Titans, and it feels really big and special, but there's just like nothing there. There's just a few really strong monsters, and then
I will say Crucible had an unfortunate or maybe fortunate overlap with Diablo 4 launch.
oh
So it's kind of just like I think for a lot of people they cut off a little bit maybe earlier than they would have otherwise. That being
yeah,
said, I'm willing to be flexible. This is not one I'm not gonna die on this
you don't
hill.
have
So
strong
uh, I would. How about the bottom of C?
bottom. I'll put it behind Scourge. I'll put it
Okay.
like here. I didn't hate it. It just felt like it had so much potential, and it was just
I thought that
wasted.
the weapons were
They were
the
cool.
weapon crafting was sick. Like I still think that's super cool. And it influenced I think a lot of the way that they approach transfigured gems today. But I maybe below Harvest, honestly.
Yeah, it might be. And we got exploding totems. We got some cool, really cool builds out of that.
Yeah.
Wasn't this Vengeance
Yeah.
Cascade League? Oh shit.
Engine. Oh no, I think that was
It was,
Ancestor.
wasn't it? Crucible
Was it?
League was
Was it
Vengeance
Crucible?
Cascade. It
I don't
was.
remember.
It was.
Crucible was also the longest league after Legacy.
Really?
Yes, there hadn't been a league this long since in 6 years,
Ouch.
and it was beat it by a week.
Ouch. 18-week league. I'm pretty sure Scourge was Vengeance Cascade League, which
I think you might be right. It's right around there.
Kind of wants me to give it a +1 for that at least. Yeah.
Vengeance Cascade was cool.
So much potential. Just didn't quite hit the spot.
Yeah.
All right.
We're down to the final three.
The final three. All right.
Ancestor League.
Ancestor League.
What do you think?
When I think about Ancestor League, I feel nice. The feelings I get are nice.
I liked it.
It again, it feels like there could have been more. If this was made in like 2017, there would have been like an end game battle with like the ultimate boss, but we just didn't get that. It kind of it got a little bit stale, and it didn't feel like there was too much depth to it, but really fun league with
I think
the
league mechanic was relatively polarizing. It was one of those things where the nice thing is like you either if you liked it, you played it. If you didn't, you just ignored it, which is fine, right? Like that's not necessarily like a bad thing. And maybe plays into part of the problem with Necropolis, but we'll get there. So Ancestor, for me, I liked the mechanic. I thought it was a little cheesy, like you could kind of like work around it, but I thought that it was kind of like I'm glad they did something like this. It was worth a shot at the very least. I would say for me, looking at the other leagues on this board, I would put Ancestor in like B tier.
Yeah, I was thinking B tier as well.
But B tier is not bad. You know what I mean? Like B tier is like a pretty solid B tier. I would take a B tier league. Like that's fine. I think that coming out of the Diablo 4 catastrophe, this was a perfectly reasonable league, especially with ExileCon right before this. I think this is a perfectly reasonable league that a lot of people probably played for the first time as their first PoE league, and they probably were like, "This is pretty fun."
Yeah,
you know, like this is like cool. So I would put this in like for me, it's like probably like the middle of maybe just below Legion.
Below Legion. I was thinking exactly below Legion, like just below Legion. Pretty cool league.
So we're on the same page.
Fun patch, very long, but not bad. Pretty fun.
Yeah. Affliction. I have never felt such a compelling urge to log in every single day
Yeah.
for as long as like I did with Affliction.
Me too. Me too.
Affliction for me. That being said, looking at the other things, it's probably like middle for me, like probably middle S tier. What do you think?
I think middle S here. It was so stupid and so fun and just so juicy. The builds that came out of it, the amount of currency that was dropping, and the thing is, the economy didn't break under this because it printed a crap load of uniques and currency, but it didn't print everything.
It kind of broke. It was definitely a very unique economy, but I didn't think that was a bad. I don't. Okay, well, this is a separate conversation. I don't think fucked up economies for a league are necessarily a bad thing. I think it's kind of like something to adapt to and figure out for a league and move on.
I think it's a good thing. I think it's a cool thing.
Yeah.
But there's a good fucked up and there's a bad fucked up. So
sure, fair enough.
This was a cool one.
This was fun. This was where I dropped my first mirror. In a Legion.
Yeah.
In Jungle Valley.
Oh.
On my huge, extremely expensive, what's it called? Penance brand.
Yes.
Inquisitor. Sick. Also off stream. Sag. No clip.
No clip.
But this was this is probably a rival for me of my actual favorite league with Ritual. It's right up there.
I think it's also right up there for me. It was stupid. Started getting immune to dopamine, but then you get something big and
even honestly I didn't get to feel like that. I mean, I was like constantly riding those highs.
Yeah.
I mean, like, I had so many good memories. I had a really good time. I don't think I would want a league like this all the time, but I think for what it is and that moment in time, for the duration it lasted, perfect.
So good.
Near
so
perfect.
good. Yeah, I also love it. I also got a mirror in this league. Remember we had the trifecta. Did you finish the trifecta?
Yeah. I did. Yeah, I finished.
You
trifecta.
did. Okay, so the
you
trifecta.
You dropped the mirror first though, and you had to buy me, what was it? 100 boxes or something.
Oh yes, I had to buy you 100 boxes. So that we had a deal. We had to find a mage rod, a headhunter, and a mirror. And whoever got the mirror first, or whoever completed the trifecta first, had to give the other guy 100 of all those boxes.
Yeah. This was the introduction of all those too, which arguably controversial, I would say, but still sick.
They were fun at the time. They were just like goofy extra content. You didn't have to do them. You didn't ever feel compelled.
I mean, you still don't have to do them.
Nah.
But they're definitely strong. However, I'm good, but I would put this.
It's definitely S, but where?
I would say, yeah. For me, above Betrayal, maybe.
Above Betrayal? Ooh, I might go below Betrayal.
I mean, apparently nothing can touch Delve.
Yeah,
precious Delve.
I'll allow it above Betrayal.
This tier list is rigged.
Oh yes, remember Guitaraholic, that league? He got a mirror, and then 45 minutes later got another mirror.
Yeah, that's just cooked.
Crazy. This was my second mirror that I ever found, and the exact same thing happened.
Show off.
Exact same thing happened. I streamed. I went to bed. Next morning, woke up, had like 15 minutes play. I was like, I'll run a map. First thing I killed drops a mirror. And I was like,
yeah,
fuck. Why?
That's crazy.
Off stream.
I was pretty deep into the league when I got it, and I was like, I refuse to stop playing until I get a mirror. And, and I got one, and I pretty much quit like a week later. I was so late in the league, so I was just like, whatever. But very good one. And now,
no, I would say if it were fully up to me, I'd put it here, but I'll let it be there. Okay.
Okay. All right.
I'll let it be there. Enough. And now, the greatest league of all time.
Just put it right at the top of S, and we can probably call it
Necropolos. I'm gonna put it at didn't play because fuck Necropolis. Actually, the worst league.
I don't agree. I don't agree at all. I don't agree.
What?
Necropolis. So here's the thing.
What?
So here's the thing. The mechanic itself
is shit.
No. I didn't hate it.
Okay.
I felt that it introduced accessibility to a lot of very cool crafts.
And then
I don't think this is a good league. I'm not going to argue that this is like A tier or B tier or C tier. I would put it right above Talisman.
Oh, okay. So still an F tier, but
I think the problem is that like here's the thing, like tier 17s, I didn't like them. I just didn't do them. Like I didn't care about that, so like it just didn't bother me. I'm not a build making creator, so it's like that. I think it's a different perspective. I feel I would honestly put it above Kalandra, but I think I'll be murdered.
I will not shift my position. Necropolis is a hard F tier. The micromanaging, like sure, you can do some of the most insane crafting we've ever seen. Double influence fractured items. The setup, horrible. Buying the corpses, horrible. Putting them in the graves, horrible. Every single step of the process was shit. Horrible.
We kind of had this discussion when we were doing 3 passive voices. That sort of stuff doesn't bother me as much, I think, as it bothers you. With like that level of tedium doesn't really get me.
Yeah.
I'm looking more of just like the overall. Did I get something cool? Did I have like at least an all right time? And I would say yes. The tedium doesn't get me there. I'm not gonna push it too hard because I think I'm fighting an uphill battle. But I think I would put this if it was purely my choice, I would put it above Kalandra in D tier.
Okay.
Just because I still think you got to make some cool stuff. I think that the lantern mechanic was very poorly executed. I think that was the part I liked the least. I think it introduced omens or not omens. What are those things called? The little things that you put on
all flames. Dude, that's the
all
most.
Flames, thank you.
That is the biggest depressing thing. Is whenever I hear someone say, all flames are really cool, man." I'm like, dude, look at these leagues we have: Betrayal, Delve, Affliction, Sanctum, and you have been so blackpilled by this shit league that you think all flames are good. If all flames were a league mechanic, it would be an instant F tier. But people, in contrast with how horrible the crafting was, they're like, you know what? I actually quite like all flames. All flames are F tier all by themselves.
I think if they had, there's 2 changes I think that could have made this better.
Okay.
One is they cut the graveyard to make about 25% of what it is, increased all the corpse power and made them all rarer. I think that would have been a dub.
Yeah.
It would have made it far less tedious. Trading would have been a lot easier. It would have increased the value of the corpses, and I think it would have been overall a plus. There's probably nuance to that implementation, but you get what I mean.
I get, and removing the adjacent shit and
all that garbage gone.
Yeah.
All the types gone. Yeah, for sure. Then the next thing is I think they could have taken all flames and again made them rarer, but made it so you could apply 1 and the impact was larger. Just reduced the numbers here. I think would have been better. However, conceptually, I don't think it's bad. I think like where they were going was a cool idea. I think the execution fell flat, but I think that like if you're looking at something like again like Talisman, which is just I don't see how it ever works. You know what I mean? Like it's like a cool idea, but I don't see how this implementation ever lands. I kind of saw where they were going with Necropolis, and I don't think I had fun. I still had fun in Necropolis League.
A swing and a miss.
I would say so, and I would say that not every league is going to be an absolute dub. This one probably fell too far into the L category, but I don't think this is. It's rare that I play a PoE league and I don't find some fun, and I would say I had fun.
You had fun. All right. Okay.
That's my glass half full take.
It just felt so yucky to me. Not just the league mechanic, but just the economy was gross and weird, and like strats would come up. Tier 17s, So
let me ask you, from the economy perspective, do you think it only felt weird because you were not playing tier 17s? Like, do you think if you were playing tier 17s, you would have had a different opinion on the economy?
No, because when I watched people doing tier 17s, it looked like the thing that it was just like the worst form of PoE. Whereas Affliction was mindless loot explosions. The level that you saw in tier 17s was just on another level. Like I've said it before, I was watching a Fubgun stream and he found a stack of 8 doctors and no one reacted. No one was like, they were just like, lol, another one. Yeah. Like, dude, you've broken the game. When you
But that was kind of Affliction too, with like mirrors.
Yeah, well, no, but you did find lots of mirrors, but it still took a few weeks of like grinding to get one. Like it was in sight, but this, when the most chase item that took me 9 years of playing starts dropping, multiple times in single streams, it just made nothing felt special in it. Nothing felt special to me.
So I feel like there were still very expensive items.
They were.
I just think that it was more about locked in perspectives from historical gameplay. Do you know what I mean? Like, if you didn't know that Headhunter was supposed to be extremely rare, oh, the third passive voice.
What? Oh no.
We were just doing an Arrow drama tier list.
What?
We were ranking your
What's number
builds.
one?
No, number one was help me out. I don't know any Arrow drama that I can think of. Number one was when you said Synthesis was your favorite league.
Oh,
I did say that. That's true.
Yeah, there you go. Number one, Arrow drama. I shouted you out earlier. We're doing a tier list for leagues, and I said Arrow always talks about the Synthesis was his favorite, and I think A tier is reasonable, so that's where we landed it. In your memory.
Where would you put it?
So I see that Arch Nemesis is A in this list, so I have to go.
Wait,
it's
what?
the patch. It's the patch.
It's a patch. You gotta give us your ranking on Necropolis League. What is it?
Does it go to J?
Okay, all right.
Here we go again. I'm willing to take you both on.
It's F. It's F tier.
F tier.
I wanted to put
One
it
of the
above
worst
Lake of
things.
Kalandra and D tier.
He wants to put it in D
Kalandra was
tier.
underrated because the loot was bad. If the loot was better, it would have been a really good league.
I was saying Kalandra broke down because of communication issues. I think it was part of the problem.
Damn. Yeah. I feel like we need to
Anyway.
have a redo.
I'm not gonna beat this horse too much, but if you F tier is fine with Necropolis. I just think that it's not nearly as bad as perception would have you believe. I don't know.
Well, yeah, I guess. I had some good moments this week, like when I stopped playing and then played Elden Ring instead. That was a good memory.
God, he's so toxic. It is
Yeah.
Tuesday, I guess.
It is. It's Toxic Tuesdays.
Is there any? Maybe Arab, this is a good time to get your input. Is there anything that we would shift? Again, it's not the mechanic; it's the patch.
Mm-hmm.
That's why you see things like Parandus at the top, because Parandus introduced, what was it, Ascendancy, right?
Was it Ascendancies or was it Atlas or something? I don't know.
But
It introduced something.
Something like that. My
It's
point
X
is,
tier and you don't even know why. Oh my goodness.
it was so long ago. We've been here for like 2 hours.
Yeah, it was long ago.
I hope everyone's looking forward to me starting my stream so we can do this for 4 more hours.
Yes.
Yeah.
When are you gonna go live?
I'm staying in the call.
Pretty soon.
Pretty soon. Cool. Parandus was
Parandus was
Ascendancy. That was huge.
Okay.
Big.
What do we think? Is there anything that needs to shift here? I'm still willing to move Delve down to A, but Lolcohol
No.
is attached to Delve.
Steadfast.
I feel like you have too many S tiers. I feel like S tiers need to be.
What?
It's an elite company. If you just
Yeah.
put 20 things in S tier, it's like, all right, does that just mean everything's worse?
Yeah.
Half of your leagues are in S tier.
Yeah. Synthesis.
Well, the thing is, like, all of the early leagues inherently are just thinner content, right? Like, there's just not as much there. So they're almost always going to be lower tier, relative. to
But
some
you
of the
have more in
juicy-
S and A tier than the rest of the tiers combined. I
Yeah.
think.
Because PoE is a good game.
Sounds like you're just a fanboy and you can't be objective. And that is why I'm going to go leave a negative comment on your YouTube video.
Yes. I can't wait.
I can't wait to dispute it. I'm going to report it, in fact.
I'm probably already shadow banned from his channel.
You are.
Well, I was like, leave the comment. Go ahead. I don't care. I'm willing to move Delirium down to A. I would move Delve down to A. I would move Anarchy and Ambush down to C or B.
But it was so special
Did
at
you
the
guys
time.
go look at?
Yeah.
Did you
Look at
guys
what?
go look at the individual patches and like review
Yes.
them to
Yes.
make
Yeah.
this?
This
That's
is why
electric.
it took what, like 2 hours?
We've been here for, I don't even know what day it is anymore.
It's Tuesday, my dudes.
Oh, that's right. Toxic Tuesday.
Toxic Tuesday.
Uh, That's the thing. It's at the time, right? So it's perception at the time. I do think there is some argument to the relative tier of each patch.
Yeah.
However, maybe our enjoyment was actually you're wrong. You didn't enjoy it as much as you thought you did at the time.
You did not have fun.
You didn't have fun. You think you did, but you didn't.
Now we got to get
I don't know.
an error
I don't feel-
reaction to this.
Yeah. Where's the arrow react? What stands out to you, arrow? What's a big one?
That's what I'm trying to find out. One that like the most glaring mistakes. I actually don't disagree with too much of this. Legion for me was S tier.
Okay.
Legion's
The
one of my
reason why
favorite leagues of all time.
we pushed Legion down because Legion, the class balance was so off.
It was off, but it was so fun. And playing the
it
meta
was
stuff was
fun.
really fun then too.
It was fun.
Like-
I agree. I had fun.
Cycloning and
ED contagianing. Did you do
Mhm.
that? Yeah.
I did.
I'd be willing to move Legion above Expedition.
Yeah, actually that's fair enough, I guess.
I still don't think it's
Expedition was
move
the nerfening, wasn't it?
Yeah.
yes.
One that we
Yeah,
need
that's in
another one
B
of.
tier?
Yeah.
Because it's not necessarily bad because of that. Expedition, I still had a great time. Mechanic was fun. SST was fun.
Mm-hmm. The nerfs were fun. People
Nerfs were
overreacted.
fun.
Game was fine.
I'm gonna make a talkative try tier list and just put everything in S tier and just smile through it all.
Do it.
Let the haters come at me.
That's funny. I feel pretty good about this. I don't know.
I feel pretty good
I'm looking
about
at it.
this. Only
Is this
thing-
like a combined list?
Yes.
What do you mean?
Like it's your opinions together? Is that what I'm?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's an
Okay.
averaging of our opinions.
Okay.
I guess we could have made
Well,
our
I would put
own,
your
but-
tier list in F. 'cause it stinks.
Whoa!
It stinks.
What the hell?
How dare you?
You stink. Yeah, that's right. Sorry, I silenced them. It was just
Wait.
Yeah.
Hold on.
Oops.
Hold on.
All
Yeah.
right.
yes. Hold on.
Affliction is an S tier.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We
You're
had
both
good.
banned from my channel.
What? Where
you
should it
can't
be?
ban me.
It was brought to my attention by Guitaraholic in my Discord DMs because apparently I was not reading chat. The folks are very upset about this, including myself. It was a bad league.
What?
You're
I
complaining
don't
about
agree.
Legion's meta, but you're not complaining about Afflictions.
No. The Legion class balance, because people were only playing 2 builds in Legion. Affliction was people playing a bunch of stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is now one passive voices.
Oh my god!
You're both banned, perma banned.
Just ban him and kick him from the Discord.
Yeah, he's just gonna be. It's gonna be called One Passive Voices, and he's gonna sit on stream with 2 mirrors just pointing at his face.
Yeah.
It's
Think
2 more
about
mirrors
it.
than you nerds have.
Excuse me. All right, that's it.
All right,
Sure, man.
thank you for the chat, guys. I'm gonna go put on something sexy and stream.
Oh.
Okay.
Bye.
Looking forward to it.
Love you both.
You
Bye.
too. Bye. Huh. All right.
Listen. All right, that's it. Move Affliction up to the top of S tier,
Yeah. Fuck yeah, dude. Quickly before he gets back.
and then end the stream.
And we
I
got
feel pretty good about this overall, though. I listen. I get this is opinion. This is not fact. So it's I don't
Yeah.
know. Like Delve clearly
Oh,
does not
shit.
belong in S tier, but it is what it is. So
It has
I
a.
can still hear you.
Oh no! Go get your stream ready so I can raid you. Oh man,
I feel good about this though. I'm
I think it's a solid list. It took
right.
way longer than I thought, but I think it was.
it was
thorough.
fun though.
Yeah.
I think we should at some point do a league implementation and current PoE list. Right? Like how
Ooh,
does because the list would look very some of this obviously is not in the game, but like
yes.
I think that there's this would be a very different list in that way.
Hmm. Yeah. Okay. That sounds like fun. We could do it, but we must get Arrow on board. We get Arrow, and we argue our way through it.
Yes, I'm down. Three
Hell
PV
yeah.
tier list special.